Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Sunday fun day. Do a great talk today. We're going to talk about the deception of our president, how wrong we all feel about, or how wronged many of us feel about this presidency. I'm going to paint some pictures for you guys of what America looked like prior to Donald Trump getting elected for his second term. That way, we kind of understand where we're coming from, why so many people voted for this guy, and then what they were kind of looking to achieve when they voted this man into office. And again, sorry guys, let me wipe off my. Make sure I give you guys a clean picture there. There we go. Use these little lens wipe things to make sure our camera's clean. Anyway, we're going to paint a picture today of what America looked like prior to this conflict. Again, why so many of us Donald Trump supporters feel scorned today, and what we're going to do moving forward. Right? I think it's all you can do. We can all cry in our Cheerios, as they say, or we can move forward. So I want to make sure that you guys understand exactly why someone like myself is so frustrated, and maybe you guys could put your comments in there, put your messaging in there for other people, and we can get and talk about this thing, kind of figure out what the hell is going on here, where is this movement going, and then why do we all feel so wrong, right? So anyway, that's what we're talking about today. I appreciate everyone being here this morning on a cool Sunday morning. We've had fantastic weather here in Illinois lately, but this morning is quite cold. So my name is Eric Wilkin. I own the Resplendent Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri. We are a fine furniture boutique company. We make about 500 pieces a year, and we ship that furniture all over America. We are known for that high gloss lacquer coating that you can see your face in, right? 94% of all my customers are women, so I sell furniture predominantly to women. So if you want to get in the furniture game, that might be something worth considering. We have 9 employees. We've been in business for 9 or 10 years at this point, and it is a great way to make money as a middle-class guy with zero education. It is difficult. You always have to work hard. There's probably no getting rich, as they say, but you can make a decent living, and you can keep up with the cost of inflation, which is very nice. So, all right, let's dig into this thing. So I want to get into my headlines, and I want to make sure that I give you guys some stuff to think about, and I give you maybe a story that you hadn't heard much about. So here we go. Headlines this morning are U.S. seizes down pilot in Iran. So apparently they found there were 2 pilots that went down, right? There was, I believe there was the actual pilot, and then there was like a weapons command person. Anyway, both those guys have been found now, right? So the first guy was rescued right away, and the second guy, I believe, was rescued last night. And if you want to know what the kind of people are that go rescue down pilots and stuff like that, like behind enemy lines, go listen to David Goggins talk about trying to become one of those people. I forget what he called it. It's like a JSOC guy, and I forget what it's called, but he gives a great description about it. So you can just Google David Goggins JSOC, and he'll talk about trying to go do this. It's a special operator basically in the military. It's kind of cool. But anyway, those guys are back, which is good because that would have sucked if Iran had a hostage, because we got no idea what would happen there. And for those of us that want this war to wind down and be done with, that would be massively escalatory. So I'm thank God that didn't happen. I'm so glad that Iran didn't find Iran didn't find those pilots, and everything will be okay. So anyway, that was headline number 1. Headline number 2 is Trump ultimatum looms on Monday, right? So we all know Trump loves to talk shit, right? He just loves to bloviate. He loves to put this big image out there, we're going to drop big, beautiful bombs, and, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be the biggest explosions you've ever seen, and, high-quality bombs. This is our favorite our favorite Trumpisms. But anyway, so we got yet another ultimatum. Like, I think he moved on it last time. Last time it was 5 days. I think this time it's 10 days, and odds are he's going to honor this one, right? And he's going to, just lay waste to this country. He's probably going to want to try and carpet bomb. He's going to try and do all kinds of nasty. If you guys saw the pictures of what Gaza looked like, that's probably what will end up happening to Iran at this rate, and it's too bad, but Donald Trump doesn't know anything other than force. That's all he knows. He's probably never had to fight a day in his life, and he always used everyone, other people. He'd use lawyers to, do his fights. He'd probably use the mob to do his fights since he's a New Yorker. He'll use the United States military to win his fights. The guy's never fought a day in his life, so he doesn't understand that if you've ever been in a fight before, you could literally beat the shit out of someone, right? You could have them on the ground ready to kill them, and they're not going to stop. They become almost like a rabid animal, and when that happens, you're not going to make that person give up. It just doesn't work, right? What you do is you create someone who is even more emboldened to fight you, right? And then you create someone who's even more emboldened to come after you later on in life, right? So Donald Trump is doing this, and we know that this is how this guy operates, and that's fine. It is what it is. But he doesn't know how to end a conflict. He doesn't know how to walk back, right? A true leader knows when to sever ties and go work on something else, right? A true leader knows when this is not good for his people, and he moves on to something else, right? When Donald Trump just doesn't know how to do that. He doesn't have it in him. His ego, it doesn't allow him to do it. And again, I'm not saying that I wouldn't do the same thing, but at the same point, like, the guy's not a true leader. A true leader can can do what's best for his people, in my case, his business owner, do what's best for my employees, and the guy just doesn't have anything, which is too bad. So expect a lot of shock and awe, or bombs and stuff like that. And yeah, so it's probably going to get bad come Monday, but what else can the guy do? He's got the entire world calling him out to his face. I mean, it's so sad. And guys, look into the comments. I see some of you guys in there throwing stuff in there. I'll get into the comments in just a second. It's so sad that basically the entire world is calling Trump an idiot, right? The entire world is telling Trump, like, hey, this isn't our fight, dude. Like, this is a war of choice. You started this conflict. You need to end it. And no matter how much he browbeats Europe, no matter how much he talks shit to Australia, no matter how much he wants to fight every other country in the world to bend to his will, right? I've talked about Trump being a megalomaniac, and this is what megalomaniacs do. No matter what he says about this conflict, everyone sees what's going on. He's literally the emperor with no clothes. Like, everyone's saying, like, dude, you're fucking naked. And he just refuses to accept, reality. And again, he will continue to say what he wants to say, and he will continue to act like nothing is happening and that everything's going great while the rest of the world laughs in our face. And it's really sad, like, as an American, like, I get a 3-time Trump voter here, guys. I'm not a liberal or a Democrat or anything. I'm a fairly conservative, Republican-leaning type guy, but at the same time, I don't support this. I don't support this man. I don't support what he's doing. And again, if he could get the rest of the world on board and everyone wanted to go crush Iran and this was going to be good for the world, like, I'd probably be on board with it, but I don't see it. So other things we'll talk about today, we're going to talk about a lot of this conflict, right? We're going to talk about how Donald Trump has essentially lied to many of us, like, for a long time. And I don't know if we just didn't see it, if we were bamboozled by the rhetoric. I don't know what's going on. But I want you guys to put your comments in today. Let us know some of Trump's greatest quotes. Like, is this what you guys voted for? And the number one question I want you guys to answer in this cast, if you're in here right now, or this live stream, is I want you guys to tell us, what do we get if we win this war with Iran, right? And I want you to be specific, right? Don't just put some bullshit comment in there. Put a real comment. The live streams only work if you guys participate, right? I'm the host. You guys are the co-host. And we're going to bat this thing around, but I want you guys to tell us what happens. What do we get? How is this America first, right? Make America great again. How does this make America great again, right? Let us know. What does America get out of this? And if we lose this war, if you guys want to put that in there, if America, let's say Trump, picks up his basketball and goes home, right? Picks up his football and goes home, right? What do we get then, right? Where does this thing end, guys? Because I don't hear enough people talking about that. I hear a lot of people say things like, oh, we're going to teach the world they can't fuck with us. We're going to teach the world they're like, the Middle East is going to be secure, right? We're going to make sure this is, good for the oil companies, and make sure that we're going to get cheaper energy here in America. Like, give me something, right? But not just a regular BS comment. Let's give us a real comment in there. Let's get this thing back and forth. Because again, like, as a longtime Trump supporter, like, I liked Trump long before he ran for president. I like the guy's charisma. Trump used to be in the furniture industry, right? As a hotel magnate, right? The guy had several relationships with some really well-known American manufacturers of furniture, right? And again, this is my industry. I always kind of looked up to this guy for his designs, right? I've gone on record many times talking about, hey, I'm going to build some Trump furniture, and I haven't gotten around to doing it, but I am going to do it because his style, believe it or not, is my style, is my wife's style. The reason we have a business is because I have a very similar style to Trump. Trump's style is a lot of lacquer and a lot of brass, right? And this is how we make money, So anyway, I say this as a guy who really supports this man and really thinks a lot of this guy, but as a president, he has just been the worst, in my opinion. So that was headline number 2, right? Trump's ultimatum looms on Monday, so we'll kind of see if maybe he can drop some more big, beautiful bombs, maybe we can, spend some more money on more weapons and, whatever he wants to do, but we'll see what happens. Okay, one other thing I thought you guys should know, a headline that you're probably not going to hear, I want to make sure I pull it up real quick, is China has been using what's called teapot refineries, right? I thought this was kind of a cool concept. I'd never heard of this before. But basically what happens, and again, you guys tell me if I'm wrong here, is that what China has is they have a whole bunch of these little tiny refineries all over the place. And what they've been doing with these little refineries, and they've been doing this for a long time. This isn't anything new. But they take the sanctioned oil, right? So it's very difficult to get these large tankers of oil out of these sanctioned countries like Iran, Russia, Venezuela, right? Very difficult to get that stuff out of there. So what they're doing is they take these much smaller ships, right? And then they're able to get this oil at reduced prices. So if America, we're paying, I don't know, what are we paying right now? Like $106 WTI rate, I think is what we're paying. So these guys are going to be paying like 50% of that. So they've been buying all this cheap oil while we've been sanctioning. We're like, look at us, we're America, we're sanctioning everyone. We're paying full price. China's been getting this oil at half price by bringing in these tiny little tankers, right? And this story, if you guys want to look at it, is on Al Jazeera, okay? So go to aljazeera.com and you guys can see the story. But they've been bringing this oil in for years. And so they've been taking this oil and they've been using it to build up their strategic oil. So they've literally been filling up their strategic reserve with these little tiny micro tankers of oil at half the price that we've been paying for oil for the last probably 7 years, right? So they've been building up the stockpile. It's a freaking fascinating article. And the truth is that these little micro refineries, they only work if you're buying oil from sanctioned countries. so it's kind of interesting. Like if we're over here fighting Iran, I'm kind of wondering if a little bit of this isn't to get these little countries that are supplying all these micro refineries, right? If we're not trying to control the oil flow even more in Iran by getting rid of this way that China, right, can buy oil at half the price that America's paying for, right? It's kind of weird, you know? So anyway, go look at that story. I thought it was fascinating learning about micro refineries and, again, how the energy market works buying oil at half the price that, again, we're paying for it. And again, it's hilarious because it's like we pay to make sure the sanctions have teeth, right? We're the country that says, you know what, if you fucking do this, we're going to come over, we're going to get you, blah, 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 blah. We pay for all the military to protect all these countries. And again, you're finding that these other countries, they're just finding other ways to not only screw us when we're trying to defend all these countries, but then they're bringing that oil in here to their country. And they're essentially getting it for half of what we're paying for. It's like, God damn, man. Like, we're supposed to be the smartest country on earth, and it just blows my mind that this kind of stuff's happening, you know? So anyway, great story. I don't want to dig into it too long because like I said, it's a fairly long article. I'm not an expert on it, but I thought you guys might like it. They're called T refineries, right? And this is what China is. The article is on Al Jazeera. So if you guys want to see it, it's there. Pretty cool article. Okay. Let's say hi to everyone. And again, participate, guys. We only want high-quality comments in here. We got moderators that come in here. I don't know if they'll be in here today, but if they do, all your bullshit comments are going to get wiped out. You know, so you got to put in good, high-quality comments, interact with people in the chat, interact with the host, and this is how this thing works. I'll say hi to you guys for a couple of minutes. We'll read some comments, and then we're going to get into the bulk of our discussion, which is MAGA's the greatest scam in politics, right? So again, kind of hyperbolic, I get it, but we're in a bad spot, guys. So when I talk about this, the bulk of our discussion today, we're going to paint the picture of what life was like prior to Trump getting elected, right? This would be the Joe Biden presidency. So we're going to do that. We're going to talk about Joe Biden's presidency, right? We're going to talk about Donald Trump's campaign rhetoric, so you guys kind of understand what we were expecting, where we came from, right? Then we're going to jump into moving America into a wartime economy, right? And this is kind of what Donald Trump is trying to do. It seems like he's going from doing what the American people want to being a wartime president, right? And I'm going to list for you guys all the wartime presidents and how they were different than Donald Trump, right? The truth is Donald Trump is trying to manufacture a war so that he can get on Mount Rushmore, so he can go down as a George Washington or Theodore Roosevelt. And man, we're in for a rough one, guys. So other things we're doing, I'm going to list for you guys the martyrs. Because at the end of the day, what Donald Trump is risking is he's risking turning Iran into a martyr state. Okay, now you guys, yeah, this isn't a Muslim thing. I'm not trying to go into the religious side of things. But again, if you guys have ever seen the movie Rocky, you know, Rocky lost the battle, right? He didn't beat Apollo, but he took a fucking beating. And guess what? You're rooting for Rocky by the very end of it, okay? And this is one of the things that we risk. And if you guys see what's happening in the rest of the world, everyone sees America's kind of playing the bully card here. And again, I'm not proud of this. It's very frustrating to me. I'm the guy that says, speak softly, carry a big stick. You want to come mess with us, we're going to go fucking wipe your country off the face of the earth. But we don't go start conflicts. We don't start fights. We finish them. Okay, but again, we don't have that philosophy today. And again, Donald Trump's going to find it very difficult to get on Mount Rushmore if he can't have a war, right? You gotta have a war, right? But he doesn't want to come into a war and end it. He wants to start it and end it. Okay, so anyway, I don't want to go on that too much. But again, put your comments in there, guys. What does this war do? Is this good for America? Is this good for our foreign policy? Is this going to be good for us in the long run, right? What happens if we win this war? I want you guys to put it in the comments. What does America get by winning this conflict, right? Does it help our neighbors? Does it help us? We're going to get lower energy prices? Are there less terrorists, less nukes? Let me know, right? All right, let's see who's in here this morning. Appreciate you guys being here today. Happy Sunday. Boy, it looks like we've got a lot of comments to start off with. Again, thanks for being here, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all those kind of things helps kick the algorithm around, gets more people in here, and we get a more robust discussion about our topic. So, all right, Ellie's in here right away. That is awesome. Thanks, Ellie. Appreciate you being here. Mike Murphy's in here. Good to see you, dude. Glad you're here. We got a lot of regulars, guys, that come in here. I cannot say it enough, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming back and participating in the discussion. Again, I don't claim to be a professional speaker or a smart man, but clearly we got a good group of people that like to. This is our cheers, guys. I say this to you guys all the time. This is the place where everyone knows your name and our problems are all the same, right? Okay, let's see. He said he is just going to walk away. Yeah, we'll see that one. I don't think Donald Trump's going to walk away. I think he's doing this as he's trying to threaten Europe, right? He's saying, you know what, if you guys to come over here and fix this straight, we're just going to walk away. You know, and again, Donald Trump doesn't have it in him to do that. I just don't think that maybe he does. I don't think that he has it. And the truth is, what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz, guys, is that Europe and every other country that needs that energy to get through the Strait of Hormuz, they're making deals with Iran, right? Which emboldens Trump, right? It makes him even angrier, right? It means that the things that he's saying, everyone's just calling him out to his face. And again, we're trying to hide it here in the media, right? We're trying to act like this is not going on in the world. If you guys look at the Hormuz tracker, go look and see what tankers are making it through there. Look at their identification numbers. What you guys are going to find out is Europe's getting its oil, right? China's going to be getting its oil. Right? The only countries that aren't getting their fucking oil is America, right? It's any American ally that is in this conflict. Israel, they won't be getting oil, but of course, Donald Trump's probably sending oil from Venezuela over to Israel, right? So again, Donald Trump's in a rough position right now, guys. And again, the world is calling him out to our face. The world is calling out America. That's us. That's you and I. They're calling us out. They're saying, you guys, this is your problem. You did this. You created a problem for the rest of the world, and we're not going to fix your problems. And we're going to make deals with these people, and we're going to get this oil to our people because our people are more important than America's ego. You know, and this is wildly frustrating as a guy who voted for a interventionalist, carry a big stick, I'm going to fuck your world up if you come fuck with us. And he's not doing that, you know. So anyway, very frustrated. And okay, Laura, who's this? Laura C217D. Spoke like a true loser. All right, Laura, appreciate it. Let me know how. Again, you guys can tell me I'm a loser. You can tell me I'm a prophet. Just tell me how, right? It doesn't matter what you say, but you got to give us something that we can go back and forth with. Otherwise, your guys' comments are probably going to end up getting deleted. Okay, we got Bob Davis in here, 4419. Yeah, you're a leftist. Okay, I appreciate it. Three-time Trump voter here, but I appreciate the comment. All right, you didn't vote for Trump. All right, this is JMay123. All right, Suga Toast. I'm a Trump supporter, but I do not love the guy. Okay, man, me too. All right, Shalom. I'm in Israel. Please send Americans to fight for us. I know we've been doing it for basically since we gave you that country. So you guys are doing all right. Okay, America's got a approving nod by Netanyahu for their little for their small sacrifice. Okay, I appreciate that one. All right, Bob Davis 4419. Persians finally got their freedom. Yeah, I guess, right? Okay, let's see. I can't. Yeah. The thing about this whole, they're going to grade us as liberators. We're going to stabilize the Middle East. Again, we're going to go through some of the stats and some of the history about this kind of stuff. What you guys are going to find out is that everywhere we go is destabilized. There isn't one example where it's worked out when America goes there with war, right? When America goes there with technology, when America goes there with an open hand, you get Saudi Arabia, you get Qatar, you get Abu Dhabi. When America goes over there with bombs and goes over there with the CIA, you get Libya, you get Iraq, you get Afghanistan, you get Sudan, right? You get Gaza, right? This is the stuff you get, right? So America can be a friend and can be a net positive on the world, but right now we're doing it in all the wrong ways. Like again, there's nothing like look at Cuba, guys. Like look what we've done to Cuba over the last I guess it's 60 years at this point. Again, this country, again, say what you want about them letting Russia put their missiles in there. Say what you want about them being a communist country, but again, we could probably help this country. Again, we could have probably done a little bit more to reach out to this country and say, hey, brothers from another mother, why don't we help you out? You're right off of our coast. But again, we don't want to do that. It's just really weird. Again, look at Haiti, look at the Dominican Republic. Like we got places we could really help out as a country who I think Americans would probably get behind helping out, but we don't want to do that. So it is what it is. I don't want to talk about it too much. Okay, Bob Davis 419. We can't lose this war. You're silly. Okay, again, I'm not talking about losing, man. Again, sometimes in order to go forward, you got to go backwards, right? As a business owner, there are days where I take 2 steps back in order to take a step forward. It's just kind of how it goes. You guys have probably know this. Like sometimes in life, you got to take a step backwards and move forwards. And again, I don't think Trump has it in it, but we'll see how it goes. So if you guys are in the stream, hit the like button. We got 7 likes at this point. I want to get the likes up to. I want to get 50 likes to this cast today. I'll give you guys an hour or two, and we'll talk about this thing. And I'm going to read all your comments and go back and forth with you. So thank you so much. Didi Sarasan, 8749, his quote, clean coal is coal that is washed. Well, I do have a coal-fired power plant, like literally outside of my home across the Mississippi River, and there is such a thing as clean coal, guys. The thing about it is they just use different kinds of scrubbers, right? You're going to have better scrubber technology, and that's all it is, guys. Clean coal, there's no such thing as clean coal. Okay, I say our dollar needs value. This civilization fades to black. Our dollar needs value. I guess it's or this civilization fades to black, man. Maybe, I guess so. DDSRS 8747. Before he was a politician, he cheated Vince McMahon in the Battle of Billionaires match. I remember watching this. I love WWE wrestling. I guess it was WWF back in the day. I grew up on wrestling, man. Wrestling is amazing. All right, what is this about? Shal was WSP, my boy. All right, not sure what's going on there. Trump quote: "You could be right beside the stealth bomber and not see it." Yeah, I know. That's hilarious. So I used to live in Wichita, Kansas, and we had an Air Force base there. I forget what the name of the air. I don't remember. It was a long time ago, but literally we got to go in and see the B-1B bombers, right? The B-1B stealth bombers, man. Those things are freaking cool, man. It's really cool to see those kind of stealth planes and just like the bodies on them. I mean, it's pretty freaking cool, man. Okay, herbs and animals. Oh, herbs and animals are alive. Okay, you're back in here. Okay, again, you got your little goofball comments. I appreciate it. DD Sarasan. 8749, Trump suggests ingesting disinfectant to cure COVID. I know, it's hilarious. And again, I like what the guy said. The guy wasn't wrong when he was talking about COVID. He just isn't, he's not the world's greatest orator, right? Again, me neither. Okay, Dean Sorter. This Dean Sorter, M5F, the Clueless speaks. All right, cool. Appreciate it. The village of Nod. Let's see. They're establishing the countries in a region. They're establishing the countries in a region. Okay, the village of Nod. Give us more. New trade arrangements. Okay, who are we arranging trade with? Let's see. TDS from a bald gay man. All right, appreciate your comment there. All right, the village Nod. Everyone agrees on this because there's a global alliance. Okay, well, tell us what the global alliance is. Doesn't seem like we got the global alliances we used to have. Are you talking about the European Global Alliance? I don't know exactly what you're saying. Give us a little more information there. I appreciate your comment. All right, Samar Lil, I'd never seen you. Jarkison? 9143, what about USS Liberty? Yeah, well, again, we don't want to talk about that. And again, that was a long time ago. I'm one of these people that, again, I don't want to live in the past. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just not one of these guys, you know. So again, you got a country that says, well, that land was promised to us 3,000 years ago. It's like, I don't give a shit. You know, oh, the USS Liberty, 60 years ago. Like, I don't care. Oh, the Gulf of Tonkin. Like, I don't care. We need to move forward, okay? If we really want to just live in the past, everyone can argue whatever point they want to argue. We got to live in what's happening today. And again, I don't hear a lot of people saying this, and especially when you want to talk about Israel, it's just like, Jesus Christ, guys. Like, let's move forward. Let's get beyond the past for once, all right? All right, rhetorically defective. All right, not sure what you're saying there. Dean, SLC. Listen, it could be worse. We are stuck with the FKN Starmer. Oh, okay, you're USA over in Europe. Yeah, well, dude. It is what it is, man. We all got to deal with what we got to deal with. All right, Kaiser Soze, I guess what you're trying to say there. 1972, Lamp Behind is from the Christmas Story. Hell yeah, it's from the Christmas Story. Again, staple the podcast. Everyone loves the lamp. That's how you know you got the modern Woodrunner cast, right? Or the modern Woodrunner stream is because you'll always see the leg. Like, who the hell else is going to put a Christmas Story leg lamp in their chat? My mom got it for me a long time ago. All right, Jeremiah 0105, of gold, oil, drugs, God of War, of false greeting. Okay, not sure what you're saying there, dude. Okay, again, all right, Seminary Lib Jerkson says USS Liberty. Yes, we know all about the USS Liberty, okay? Ron will not let us. Okay, not sure what's going on. Okay, again, guys, I'm going to look for a few good comments here, and then we're going to get into the bulk of our story. Let's see. It's fun to see. Security. Okay, let's see. This is Teddy Flowers R8X. It's fun to see, but scary to use, especially when their fighter jets go all the way up in the sky. Right? Not again, guys. Wow. So not a ton of great comments in here. This is a Jim Rat says, good morning, happy Easter. Yeah, I guess it is. I didn't even know that. It's Easter. It's Easter Sunday. shows how much I celebrate holidays, right? Okay, fantastic. Happy Easter, everyone. And again, I didn't even think about it, but yeah, you're right. All right. Okay, there was no 2,000 years ago. All right, opinion on Nick Fuentes. This is Samar Lil Jarkus. God, dude, I wish I could pronounce it. Opinion on Nick Fuentes. Okay, I like Nick Fuentes. I think he's a pretty interesting character. Again, I listen to a lot of his clips on X. You know, I think he's on Rumble. I don't listen to his show or anything like that, but I do listen to the clips. And the guy's got an opinion, right? Which I think is why he's popular. I think he's a #1 live streamer in America, right? So if we were doing this cast, we got 50 people in here. He's doing a cast, he's got 50,000. Right, so you can say what you want about that guy. You can talk about his message. He's a white supremacist. He hates black people. He hates Jews, all that kind of stuff. And the truth is that he resonates with people. #1 streamer in America, you know. So say what you want about it. The guy's got a good message. He's a great speaker. He's got a lot of facts. He's clearly intelligent. You don't get to be that big and not be intelligent. And one thing I think people might not know about Nick Fuentes is he's been doing that stream for like 13 years. Like long time, guys. And the message to that is that's how everything works in life, guys. It's all about consistency, right? I did a cast yesterday about how to make money as a normie, an idiot basically, and the 9 different income streams that I have. And again, This is what this guy, the number one thing he does is be consistent, and again, that's the best message you can possibly get. You want to get somewhere in life, just be consistent, So anyway, I like the guy. I think he's fine. Again, I don't necessarily agree with everything he says, but on the whole, he probably can speak to what I'm saying like way more intelligent and get through to way more people. But again, he's one of these guys, he's scorned by the whole Donald Trump thing. And again, so am I. And that's what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about, how essentially MAGA is the greatest scam in my political lifetime, So okay, there you go. There's a little bit on Mr. Fuentes. All right, Alza, 13-year-old. Hello, Dad. All right, not sure if that's who. Hello, my son. All right, appreciate it. Vanguard, who Victoria stole the throne from after Waterloo. Okay, not sure what you're saying there. You must be talking about, is that WW1? Okay, Dad, you look like Steve Austin. All right, cool. Appreciate your comments. Okay, guys, let's see, we got the last. Look at that. I made it through the comments. Okay. So we're going to start to get a bunch of people in the stream. We're going to talk about the bulk of our discussion today, which is MAGA's the greatest scam in politics in my lifetime. Okay, you guys want to get your message read. You want to get the interaction right away. You have to do super chats and super likes, and that's just how it's going to be at this point because we're going to get too many comments going on here. So we'll dig into the bulk of our discussion. Okay, so I'm going to paint for you guys a picture. I want you guys to understand what America looked like prior to Donald Trump getting elected, right? What was this guy doing? What was it that made his message resonate with people, right? Was it they just wanted to hear a guy get up there and talk shit, right? Where people just finally decided they're done with politicians, they want a business guy? Like, how did this guy get elected, right? What was his message that resonated with so many people, right? And again, what you guys understand about Donald Trump getting elected that I don't think enough people pay attention to is the guy won the swing states. This does not happen for Republicans. He won all of them. He sweeped them, right? Donald Trump also won the popular vote. That hadn't happened for a Republican since Reagan, right? So again, you got to understand the mandate that this guy had was pretty clear, right? The message that he ran on the MAGA message, which I've gone over at length. I'm not going to try and go over it too much. I think everyone knows what Donald Trump's messaging was at the time. The messaging was very clear. Again, when you can get that many people to jump ship on the Democrat side, when you get that many of the independents to side with the Republican Party or the Republican nominee, I mean, your economy's got to be in pretty shitty shape, right? There got to be a lot of bad things going on for people to basically say, you know what, we're going to come over here, we're going to try this guy out, right? This shitty candidate didn't work well, we're going to try this guy because he looks less shitty, right? And I always say it all the time, like, those are your guys' choices. At the end of the day, you got shitty and shittier. There very rarely is there a great, candidate that you guys can vote for. But anyway, so let's paint a picture of what was happening during Joe Biden's administration. Okay, so what was happening during Joe Biden's administration is essentially you had peak inflation of 9.1%, right? This is Jimmy Carter territory, right? This is costs were going up like exponentially. Costs were going through the roof, and you guys are seeing a little bit of this today. So Donald Trump will tout for you guys, oh my God, inflation's coming down, 9.4%, 9.5%, whatever the hell it is, right? The truth is, guys, is that the next inflation rating is going to be double. You watch what happens with the cost of gas and the cost of everything, because not only is the cost of gas driving inflation way higher than tariffs ever did, but every single business in America is adding surcharges to cover this inflation in the cost of gas, okay? We didn't see that during Biden. A lot of us business owners, we ate that shit. We might have raised our prices a tiny bit, but for the most part, we ate the bulk of that, right? So you had that going, okay? You also had $5 gas when Joe Biden was in office, right? So again, because the Ukraine war started when he was in office, what you end up having is you had a crazy surge in the cost of oil. I don't know if you guys remember this, but oil prices were $150 a barrel, right? Which led to $5 gas, right? So again, when Trump looks at the cost of oil and the cost of gas right now, he's like, meh. No one cared when Joe Biden was in office. It wasn't that big of a deal when Biden was in office. Like, why are they so pissed off about it, in this Iran conflict? Doesn't make any sense, So again, you had high inflation, you had high energy prices, okay? So this was kind of squeezing everyone. And again, I've got monitors behind me, guys. I'm doing a little bit of reading as I do this. I don't know if people tell you this. This is kind of how we spew all these facts when we do these casts. We're not just making this shit up. I don't have all this stuff memorized, okay? Other things that were happening, okay, is you had massive homeless epidemic, right? So under Joe Biden, you saw just crazy homelessness across the West Coast. And again, I'm from Corvallis, Oregon, in case you guys didn't know. I've moved all over the country. I've moved to the East Coast. I used to live in Georgia. Now I've landed in Missouri, essentially. So again, massive increase in homelessness. So people are seeing all these homeless camps. You're seeing this stuff kind of move to a lot of these blue cities. And you even saw it like places like Austin, where we go from time to time. But again, Austin kind of quashed that. But anyway, so you're seeing all this proliferation of homelessness, and the taxpayers are going like, hey, man, what the fuck? Why do I even pay taxes if you guys are going to keep these people off my streets, right? When I walk down, like we got the Del Mar Loop here in St. Louis, Missouri, again, covered in fucking homeless people. You can't get rid of these people. And the police don't want to do the work, right? So he's like, well, What's the point of paying taxes? What's the point of law enforcement, right? We can't get these people off the street. We can't keep our streets clean. We can't enforce the laws, right? So you had a little bit of a picture of lawlessness, right? Not enforcing the laws, or selectively enforcing the laws, right? Again, your governments had no problem going after Donald Trump. I don't know if you guys remember this, right? They had no problem going after this guy so that he wouldn't run for president again, but you can't get the homeless people off the streets, right? You guys remember that time in California where the bulk of the homelessness is, by the way, President Xi from China came in and he was going to come visit Los Angeles and suddenly they got rid of all the homeless people. So clearly they can solve the problem. They just didn't want to do it, So anyway, the other things that were happening in America when Joe Biden was in office was you had a massive immigration problem, right? So we saw 10 million people come in here illegally. That's just illegally. While Joe Biden was in office, right? So again, people are asking, like, hey, what the hell's going on here? Why are so many people coming in here, right? People are getting frustrated, right? So you take things like inflation, you take the lawlessness, you take the homelessness, you take you got the Ukraine war, raising the cost of energy for everyone, raising the cost of everything. Inflation was really high, right? And then you bring in the illegals, right? So people are pissed off about all the illegal immigrants coming in here. Wages are being depressed a little bit. And everyone's like, well, hey, man, it sure would be nice if I could compete for the work. I didn't have to fucking compete with Jose, right? I didn't have to compete with Chang over in China. So people are getting a little bit frustrated with this whole immigration thing and the outsourcing of all your guys' jobs to China. Okay, so guys, give me just a few more minutes and I will respond to comments. So again, all these people coming in here, right? And again, your Alejandro Mayorkas, the head of the Department of Homeland Security, would go before Congress every year and he would say the border's secure. And everyone's like, what the fuck do you mean the border's secure? Yeah, it's secure. And nothing happened. Congress didn't push back against this. You might have a couple of Congress people that would challenge him, but at the end of the day, no one did anything about it, right? So Americans are seeing all these things happening, and they're just like, man, this kind of sucks. I don't like this. I'm not sure that this is what, is best for this country, right? So people are starting to ask the questions, right? They're seeing the high prices, the immigration, the homelessness, right? The high cost of everything, right? So people are getting really frustrated, okay? Now, a guy like Donald Trump comes in, and he says, and again, this is the picture of what life was like, during Joe Biden's presidency. So Trump comes in, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna close these borders down." And again, he's speaking in absolutes, right? This is very different than a lot of people. He's just like, "I'm gonna close the border. I'm gonna mass deport people." Right? And he's being very hyperbolic in his language, right? He's really trying to draw people in and show a clear contrast between what was happening in the Joe Biden presidency and what life was going to be like in a Donald Trump presidency. And he starts this thing called MAGA, right? And MAGA is a big thing, make America great again, okay? And this is messaging from his first campaign, but he's bringing that back, right? And this is, believe it or not, the Make America Great thing is from Reagan, but again, Donald Trump took it and he ran with it, and it's great, good for him. But he's presenting a stark contrast between the Joe Biden presidency. And I don't think enough people put enough emphasis on exactly what he did. Very stark terms. And I can go through the Donald Trump quotes. We can go through some of the things. But again, people were pissed off about inflation. They're pissed off about the high cost of energy, the high cost of life, right? One of the reasons for that is the Ukraine war, right? That is what caused the initial surge in oil prices, in gasoline, right? In oil, right? Fucking oil is like, what is oil like? I think I paid something like $11 a quart for a Royal Purple oil, which is what I'd like to put in my cars. Again, I remember buying oil as a kid when I was in high school. It cost me 79 cents. Anyway, point is that things are very, very expensive, and Donald Trump is painting a very different picture, like very specifically, right? And again, as he's doing this, things like the Ukraine war, we shouldn't go over the, I'm going to end Ukraine on day one. You guys remember this? I'm going to end it on day one. It'll be ended before I'm even president. 24 hours. I'm going to get the cost of inflation in. I'm going to double energy production. He just starts speaking in these absolutes, right? And again, everyone always says, there's got to be nuance. Like, no one gave a fuck, guys. They wanted to hear what this guy was saying, and he said all of it, and he's delivered on almost none of it, by the way. So again, the guy wins the popular vote, right, which hadn't happened since Reagan. He wins all the swing states, which hadn't happened since Reagan. The guy had a massive 80 million majority mandate to do the things around, because people were just tired of Joe Biden. They were tired of what was happening. They were tired of the high prices. They were tired of hearing about the Ukraine war. They were just tired, right? So this guy runs on stuff, gets elected, wins a massive mandate, and that takes us up to where we are today, okay? And again, if you guys want, I'm happy to go through what he ran on. I'll give you guys all the quotes. I've got them all pulled up here. We can dig through all this shit. But the truth is that the guy didn't do what he said he was going to do. And again, he was speaking in very, very broad terms. He was using, the hyperbolic Trumpian language, which is great, good for him. But he didn't deliver on some of this stuff. And at the end of the day, that's what Americans care about, right? Americans care about their checkbooks, right? That's all. At the end of the day, that's all it really boils down to, okay? So There's your picture of what Obama looked. Okay, now let's talk about Trump's rhetoric. We went over a little bit of that. I want to make sure that I kind of give you guys a little bit of context here, exactly some of the things, because I think people have forgotten. I think that when I hear people on X and I hear people here on these live streams, you go on Instagram, you go on any of these places, the things that people are saying, they're acting like Trump didn't say anything, or no, Trump didn't mean that, or no, Trump said this thing back in 1945 when he was 8 years old, and this is what he really means. I mean, people will go to the ends of the earth to defend what this guy said. And again, he's been one of the most popular people in America his entire life. The guy you could piece together anything you want about Donald Trump because at some point in time he's said it, right? So some of the things. Listen to this. Here's some of the stuff that Donald Trump was writing. Okay, obviously, make America great again. I mean, it's been the cornerstone of both of his presidencies. Like the guy's been running this stuff forever. Okay, on immigration, you guys remember this one? When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing in drugs. They're bringing in crime. They're rapists. They're murderers. You guys remember all this stuff? I mean, this is classic Trumpian language. Okay, I will be the greatest jobs president that God ever created. Like, this is so Trump, right? And if you guys look at what Jerome Powell just said, he basically said that we have net zero job gain this year, right? And again, you guys can say, oh, we just had 178,000 jobs. Okay, great. That's awesome. That plays great in the headlines today. What happens when it's revised next quarter, right? You guys look at the revisions to 2025, 1 million jobs were reduced from what they said was created, meaning you had zero net job gains, okay, in his first term, okay? This is not good, guys. And again, Trump ran, I'll be the greatest president ever. I'm going to be the greatest jobs created president ever. And he's not doing it, okay? So again, at some point, if you're going to run on something, if you're going to win and you're going to galvanize the country to support your movement, the MAGA movement, at some point you got to deliver, right? And again, it doesn't seem like Donald Trump wants to do that, okay? So, all right, and again, you guys have to give me some time. I got to go through this stuff. I know you guys want your comments read. The only way you're going to get your comment read right away while I'm doing this is you got to do super chat, super gift. That's it. Otherwise, when I'm done spewing my Donald Trump rhetoric quotes, we're going to go down to the end of all the comments, which there will be thousands of them. We'll scroll back a little bit, and then we're going to start reading, okay? So that's how it works. It's the only way we can keep up. It's the only way I can keep current when you guys are putting your comments in there, okay? All right, so other things he said, I alone can fix it. I know words. I have the best words. like this stuff is just gold. It's so good. I absolutely love when this guy talks. It's hilarious. I love watching him talk. The American dream is dead, but if I win, I will bring back bigger and better and stronger than ever before. Okay, well, we will send what we need to rebuild our mission. We will spend what we need to rebuild our military. Our military dominance must be unquestioned. And in the line about ISIS, right? I have a simple message for ISIS. Your days are numbered. I won't tell them where and I won't tell them how. And Donald Trump says all this shit. And again, ISIS, have you guys even heard about ISIS? Like, ISIS is gone. They're not a thing. They were useful when they were around, but now they're gone because they're no longer useful. So we don't talk about them, okay? Some of the other things, again, give you just a couple more of these things, okay? You guys want to talk about, we need to talk about the Middle East a little bit, right? Because this is like the big thing today, right? What did Donald Trump say about the Middle East, okay? He says, here we go. This is on the 2003 Iraq invasion, okay? Look at the war in Iraq and a mess that we're in. I would never have handled it this way. Does anyone really believe that Iraq is going to be a wonderful democracy? 2 minutes after we leave, they're going to have another revolution. They're going to have the meanest, toughest, smartest, most vicious guys who will take over. He frequently claimed, right, the reason you go into these countries, you destabilize them, right? Donald Trump, he said it like ad infinitum. And now he's acting like, no, that's not what's going to happen. It's going to be great. They're going to greet us as liberators, right? They're going to welcome America with open arms. They're going to, immediately agree with Saudi Arabia. They're immediately going to be best buddies with Israel. They're going to shake hands, and they're both going to, one's going to have the turban, one's going to have the tiny hat, and they're both going to get along, and everything's going to be great. And he's completely full of shit, guys. It's just insane. Okay. Obviously, the war in Iraq was a big, fat mistake. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East, okay? What's he doing today? Okay, and again, I've got dozens of these things, guys. There is dozens of things. Again, the guy said all this stuff, right? Ran on this as a president, created the MAGA movement, right? Promised Americans, very specific things, and he's delivered very little. And this is, again, why a lot of us feel betrayed, right? A lot of us cannot figure out what the fuck is happening. Our minds are just, we're still in shock. Right? I think we're 37 days into this whole Iran conflict. Again, we're like, well, where's the mass deportations? Where's the big freaking tariffs? 15%. Like, just give me a break. We pay more. We got more inflation in gasoline, right? We got 30% inflation in the last 5 years. You want to talk about a 15% tariff? Like, give me a break. Where are these tariffs, right? He's not doing this stuff. He's not doing the stuff that you're around. And where's the border wall? He talked about the border wall his entire presidency. Not seeing the border wall, right? The money has been allocated. If you guys look at the one big beautiful bill, there's all the money for the deportations. He just doesn't want to do it because it's not politically palatable. Going to war, no problem. Kicking out, 10, 20 million people that shouldn't be here, impossible. So anyway, okay. So let's dig into comments. I'm gonna say hi to you guys. And again, next we're gonna dig into and again, if you guys want to go into more Donald Trump quotes, I got tons of them. There's so many of them. We're going to talk about going into a wartime economy. Okay, and again, this is one of the things that Donald Trump was the antithesis of. This is why he won the presidency. He was not going to be a wartime president. He was not going to be someone that was going to start wars. He was going to end them. And again, it's one of the reasons we all feel so betrayed. Again, and I just painted the picture of what happened in Biden's presidency. Again, people were tired of this whole Ukraine-Russia conflict. They're tired of the high energy prices. They're tired of the inflation. They're tired of hearing about, we gotta, viva la Ukraine or whatever the hell people are saying. I don't remember what they say, but people were tired of this stuff. They just wanted to go back to having the American dream, right? Living the American life, right? You get married, getting married in your 20s, having the 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch home, getting the BMW in the parking lot, having the 2.5 kids, the white picket fence, the golden retriever in the front yard. Americans wanted to get back to that. Donald Trump promised that. He promised moving us in that direction. He's done none of it. And this is why we feel so betrayed, So, all right, here we go. We're going to go, like I do, we're scroll to the end. We're going to look at what we got going on here. Again, appreciate everybody this morning. If you guys are in the chat, hit the like button, add a discussion. We're talking about how MAGA is the greatest scam in politics, right? And again, I didn't. This isn't my quote. This is Tim Dillon's quote, if I'm not mistaken. Go listen to Tim Dillon talk about this kind of stuff. Again, he's a much better orator than I am. I don't know if he does live streams, though. Okay, who's this? We got, this is supposed to be Kwai 2692. America's always big but not great, except pre-Columbus. Okay, well, you must be one of those people. I appreciate your comment, though. Again, I think America's great. I think we got the greatest country on earth. Again, I say this as a guy who's we got 9 or 10 employees at this point. And again, I got people from all different parts of the world. And guess what? Everyone that comes to America says it's the greatest place that's ever existed. They love being here. They've never seen so much opportunity. They've never seen so much wealth. They've never seen such big buildings. They've never seen such big so much commerce. Right? These people love this country. And again, Americans, we love this country. But we got to right this ship. Okay, Matthew Quinn says, the fact that you can be on here and put America down and you're able to have your opinion means America's great. Yeah, and again, I don't necessarily think that I'm putting America down, right? Again, we got a lot of people today. What they think is like if you don't support the war in Iran, that you're anti-military. And this isn't true, right? If you say that America shouldn't be talking this way to NATO, right? You're anti-American. You hate this country. And again, and I don't say anything, but at the end of the day, this is what people do. They live in these binaries, right? They live in these cultural binaries. Well, if you don't agree with me, you're against me. And this isn't the case. If you want to use NATO as a good example, the truth is that we should have left NATO 15 years ago. When NATO started encroaching on Russia, right, and started adding more countries in and boxing Russia in, like we should have left NATO then because it could only lead to what you had in Ukraine. I mean, it was patently obvious. We've known this for a very long time. We should have been out of NATO. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you guys. When Donald Trump says we need to leave NATO, the problem is where Donald Trump is wrong is he's saying, oh, we're going to leave NATO. We need to leave NATO now because they won't help us in the Strait of Hormuz. It's like, no, motherfucker, you did that shit. You need to fix that problem. It's not NATO's problem. You fucked up their energy, right, when you bombed NATO or Nord Stream, right? When you severed that pipeline, that America did that, right? I honestly believe that, right? The Strait of Hormuz, America did that. Europe didn't do that. And again, I think Europe's a bunch of pussies. I think that most of the people in Europe are lazy, right? I think that their culture lives on America's defense, But again, I don't blame them for the Strait of Hormuz thing. I'm pretty consistent about right and wrong, And again, you can disagree, but just because I don't think that NATO did this, and NATO is absolutely not required to go into the Strait of Hormuz and secure that waterway. I don't think that, again, they didn't do that. We did that. All right, that's an American problem. And again, if we don't want to own up to that, okay, it doesn't mean I hate the military. It doesn't mean that I'm pro-Iranian. It means that I'm pro-right and wrong. Okay, and again, like I hope your guys' mothers raised you better than this, but I think everyone kind of knows right and wrong here in this situation. Oh, God, Iran can't have nuclear weapons. We got to go in there. We got to go secure that place. Okay, well, good. Name one country that got nuclear weapons that became scarier. Name one country that got nuclear weapons that became a worse enemy to their neighbors. Okay? The truth is that nuclear weapons stabilize things. And you might not like to hear that. I'm not saying that these countries should have them, right? But you guys can look at the two examples, the last countries that got nuclear weapons. You can look at what happened in Libya, and you can look at what happened in North Korea. If you guys don't want to be honest about it, okay? I don't want to tell you. Go look at what happened in those countries, right? Libya gave their nuclear weapons up. What happened, right? Destabilized. Destabilized country. Muammar Gaddafi got a pole stuck up his ass. They killed him, right? What happened when North Korea got nuclear weapons? Oh, yeah, everyone fucks off, leaves them alone. Again, they're going to fire their little missiles every now and again, but again, they're kind of left to their own devices, right? And if you guys want to be honest about that situation, North Korea is going to outbreed South Korea. And you get all the, you get the Republicans and the people that wanted the economists, right? They talk, oh my God, look how amazing North Korea is, and look how amazing South Korea is, all their technology, right? Their average citizen's quality of life is amazing. And then look at the average quality of life of the North Koreans, right? This is a perfect example of why capitalism works and communism doesn't, okay? Who's going to end up winning that war in the next 50 years? Is capitalism going to work? Is capitalism going to win, right? Is democracy going to win? No, communism is going to win. You don't have to like this. They're just going to outbreed everyone. At the end of the day, South Korea is not having children because they're so wealthy. That's the thing that we got to fix over there. And again, I'm not trying to make this a South Korea, North Korean issue, right? We're talking about nuclear weapons. But at the end of the day, if you guys want to be honest about what's going to happen, North Korea is going to win that conflict. They're just going to do it with time. Right? The reason a lot of these poor countries are going to win these large conflicts, they're going to defeat America, is because they're having children. I talk about this all the time in this casting. As I get older, I'm realizing like this is the real problem. It's not capitalism, it's not communism, it's not socialism, it's not poor people, white people, black people, brown people. It's not classes. It's just literally family. That's all it ends up boiling down to. If you don't promote having children, if you don't promote having large families, like really strong communities, people don't have kids. The wealthier they become, the less children they have, right? The more educated they become, the less children they have, okay? And again, I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm just telling you that at the end of the day, if you look at South Korea and North Korea is going to win the war. And they're going to do it by just simply outbreeding everyone. They're going to outlast everyone because they keep their population robust. So they promote family. And again, don't misunderstand me, guys. But again, if we could take it back to nuclear weapons destabilize regions, stabilize regions. And it's just the honest to God truth, okay? So, all right, continuing on here. Matthew Quinn, I appreciate your comment, dude. All right, Hellhound of Justice, man, great name. Tired of Democrat lies and corruption. Okay, well, Democrats, again, lie and they're corrupt. Again, what, you think the Republicans aren't? Like, do you see the spending going down with Republicans? Again, they always promise this great economy, cut taxes, right? But then, do you ever see the budgets get fixed? Do you ever see the deficits come down? Again, you just had the fucking the head of the Fed, Jerome Powell, literally says, "Oh God, the deficits don't matter. We just got to grow the economy so that the debt to GDP doesn't get out of control." Like, are you high? Do you guys really believe this stuff? Like, this isn't a Republican-Democrat issue. Republicans, I honestly do grow the economy when they cut taxes, but the problem is that they can't cut the spending. And it happens every time. Go back and look at any time they cut taxes, right? And then the Republicans, they love to go to war. None of these wars are ever paid for, guys. They're all paid for in debt. Okay? You got the president of the United States asking Congress for $200 billion. We got $1 trillion fucking defense budget. We don't have $200 billion in that defense budget to pay for bombs. Again, I thought other countries were paying us for missiles. I thought other countries were paying us for tanks and jets and bombs and all. Where's all that money going? So again, like nobody balances the budget. Nobody even tries to balance the budget. It's just we got to make sure we grow it faster than we accumulate the debt, right? Which never happens, which is why we're $49 trillion debt, getting ready to be $40 trillion in debt, and our economy is not growing fast enough. And what we do is we inflate it, right? So if we inflate the economy, guess what? Number go up, which is good, but you can't outpace the spending, right? There's no mechanism to slow the spending down, right? Anyways, I don't want to make this discussion about that. It's just, I like your comment, dude. I think they're all corrupt. At the end of the day, everyone's corrupt. They're all being bought and paid off by large corporations and lobbyists, and we got to get the money out of politics. All right, let's see. He closed the border. 100%, man. Donald Trump nails it. Again, it's admirable what that guy did on the border. He closed it down, and again, it's funny to me that we have a Department of Justice, right, who saw what happened to Donald Trump, right? The way that all these states and all these politicians went after this guy, right, with things like the Steele dossier. The Trump's being pissed on by Russian hookers and all this kind of shit, going after him for the whole Stormy Daniels, saying like, oh my God, heaven forbid a guy pay off a hooker because he doesn't want his wife to know that he was, fucking around. Like, oh my God, like, is that a federal crime? Does that mean you can't be president? Like, I don't. But anyway, point is that when the Democrats were letting illegals in here, claiming the border secure, they were doing all this shit. The Department of Justice, Donald Trump's Department of Justice, isn't going after any of these people because they don't want to. They're not interested. So No one wants to fix this problem. No one ever goes after previous administrations because it doesn't mean that if you go after the previous administration, it stops the fuckery of the current administration and then future generations, which is why you're never going to see politicians held accountable. And again, there's tons of them. There's so many politicians that we could hold accountable, the Department of Justice could go after, but they won't do it because this is how our system works. And it's too bad, so it is what it is. All right, let's see. Butt soak fucker. Wow. He didn't have a mandate. He won by okay, goddamn, dude. Like, I cannot believe you actually think that. That's insane. Like, get on Grok and let's go look at the numbers and see exactly how Donald Trump won the election. Okay, like you got to be honest about it, right? We do facts here. We don't do hyperbole or guesses. He won by 300,000 votes. Oh my goodness. Okay, Jerome 0105. See, it was big. There were millions of natives in 78 different tribes. All right, Jerome, you're talking about something we're not talking about today. Appreciate it though. Okay, tired of any politics. Not right, not left, not Trump, not Obama, not Bush, not. But yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same boat, guy. All I want to do is focus on my business. Right, I want to make sure that my guys can buy cars, buy homes, feed their kids. I'd like to, buy some nice shit, grow my company, make shit for my customers. Like, this is stuff I want to focus on. But talking about politics, just it takes over everything, and it sucks. It's horrible. And again, I think that one of the reasons we do these live streams, I think that one of the reasons these things are so popular is that everyone kind of just wants to vent a little bit. Everyone wants to be able to say something, and a lot of you guys do it with anonymity, right? I do it knowing exactly who I am, but a lot of times people just want to vent, right? They want to go to Cheers. They want to go to a place where everyone knows your name, right? I want to go to a place where all your problems are all the same, And again, this is, I think, what makes these live streams work, and why things like Fox News, things like X, these platforms are dying because, again, everything's controlled by bots. Here you're getting real discussions with people, and I hope most of you guys aren't bots, but man, I don't know. But anyway, great comment. I appreciate it. All right, so Beach Bum 9324 says, wait till 10 a.m. tomorrow. Winning MAGA. Okay, well, Beach Bum, let us know what you mean by winning. Let us know what you mean by 10 a.m., right? Are you talking about, is there going to be a bombing campaign? Do you like killing poor brown people? Is this like your thing? Do you like going over and fighting wars in places that you're never going to go? Is bombing Iran going to help America? Because again, I'm all in for it. You guys want to go bomb another country, and you want to bring those spoils back to America and bring our oil prices down, bring the cost of our homes down, bring the cost of our energy down. You want to make the life for the average American better. I'm on board. But it doesn't seem like that ever happens. Like, again, and put in the comments, you guys think that there is a conflict that we've been in that made America's lives definitively better? I would like to know what that is, because I haven't seen one of these wars make America's lives better. I just haven't. The only thing that made America great was essentially fighting World War II when we built this country up into the manufacturing powerhouse of the world, right? And maybe that's what Trump's trying to do right now. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to put us into a wartime economy. That's the next thing we're going to talk about. But maybe that's where we're going. Maybe he's going to try and, redo World War II. I got no idea. Okay, Beach, appreciate your comment. All right, top corn biscuits. Sure, bud, that's your comment, dude. Come on, you can do better than that. Okay, the Blitz 78. It's all a fucking show, and we are the losers watching this disgusting mess. Yeah, and I get it, but what's the fix, man? What do you think we should do? Again, you got to have solutions, guys. You got to put comments in there that people can interact with, right? We just put a little quip in there. Maybe that's good, but you got to give us a little bit more, right? We want to create a group of people that understand the problems and then think about the solutions, right? Again, just you're not stuck, guys. Like, you're not in this situation. It's not like you don't have a voice. You got a voice. This is what we're doing, right? This is one of the reasons that people like Tim Dillon, Joe Rogan, right? All these podcasters, Tucker Carlson, all these guys are talking about this thing in the way that they're talking about it is because this kind of conversation is happening all around this country right now. People are pissed off about this thing. They're not happy about it. And sure, there's plenty of people that are in there that are for it, and I think it's going to be better for America. But I'm trying to get you guys to articulate why. Why are you for this? Right? How is this going to help Americans, right? If you're just for it because you're MAGA no matter what, then okay, put it in there. We can run with that. We can debate that issue, okay? All right, North and South. Okay, top quarter Beskies. You'll believe anything peasant. Okay, again, top court. I think we're just going to do away with you. You are not helpful. Okay, let's see. We got, see, this is Quickie 2692. How easily people can believe one side or the other are the bad guys. How easily people can believe one side or the other are bad guys. Okay, I'm not sure what you're saying there. All right, here, we're going to scroll down to our comments, guys. I want to make sure that I'm keeping up. Wow, you guys are putting a lot of comments. Again, I appreciate this. Thanks, guys. We're talking about how MAGA is the greatest scam in my political history as far as I know. I can list for you guys what other presidents have done who have been in similar situations. Okay, we'll dig into that. Let's do comments for a few more minutes, and I'm going to list for you guys other presidents that have moved away from their political messaging. Okay, and I want you guys to listen for what the similarities are and how Donald Trump is wildly different. Okay, and again, I think you guys will see what I'm talking about when I start listing these presidents. We'll talk about FDR, we got George W. Bush, we got Barack Obama in here, we got Lyndon Johnson, we got Woodrow Wilson, we got FDR, right? We got George W. the Elder, George was it HW? Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, H.W. Bush. So anyway, we can list all these things. A few more comments, guys, and we'll dig into these other presidents and how they handled their situation. All right, smooth bandit. Smooth bandit mandate doesn't equal autocracy. Yeah, I get it, man. I agree. If you remove another comment here. Okay, smooth bandit, thanks for the comment, dude. Yeah, mandate doesn't equal autocracy. I get, but a mandate does mean, at least in my estimation, does mean you should probably get maybe half of what you ran on, maybe. You know, and again, Donald Trump doesn't like to use Congress anyway, so he can do a lot of this with executive orders. And he got the funding to do a lot of things that he ran on, but he just doesn't want to do it. He's literally trying to change the economy. And I don't know, it's a good thing. Like I said, that's the next topic that we're going to end up talking about in my list of things to talk about is Donald Trump shifting America into a wartime economy. Because if you guys look at what we're spending today, we are spending at the levels that we were spending during World War II. It's absolutely insane. The difference between now and World War II is that we got $40 trillion in debt, right? Back then, I think we had it was like $38 billion in debt. And the other difference is back in the day, as Americans, we used to believe that when you went to war, you had to pay for it. We don't do that anymore, right? Which is one of the reasons that it's so easy for you guys as government to go to war. It's one of the reasons that it's so easy to do what they want to do because you guys don't actually require the consent, right? The consent of the governed is Congress, right? The last time we passed an actual a bill to go to war, I believe, was World War II. So we're not, as a country, going to fight wars. We have specific groups that are paying politicians to send our country to war, right? That are influencing our politicians to send them to war. Like, say what you guys will about the state of Israel, but their group AIPAC is literally funding the majority of our politicians to fight this war. This is what I believe. You guys can disagree with me. Okay. This is Chris Long. First time I've ever seen this guy, and nothing wrong with it. Just by looks and talk, I could safely bet this dude is married to an Asian. I am married to an Asian. That's amazing, Chris Long. Again, I want to know how you do that, dude. That's really impressive. Now, can you tell me which country in Asia? So, Chris Long, I appreciate your comment, man. All right, Billy Bear, 651. You lost, moron. Okay, I don't know. What did I lose? How did I? What happened? Give us some more. All right, J-Polls and J-Poll 3808. Good morning, happy Easter. J-Poll, good to see you. Again, we got a lot of regulars that come in here. We got dozens and dozens of people that come in here all the time on these regular streams. Again, I appreciate a lot of you guys that come in here. It definitely goes noticed. Okay, smooth man. Executive orders aren't laws. I know, man. Again, Donald Trump has a real problem with the executive order thing. He just cannot seem to get Congress to go along because I don't think he wants to. And this is very frustrating because the minute we get someone with the opposing point of view coming into office as the president, all that stuff just gets wiped away with the stroke of a pen. One of the things that Donald Trump ran on was Doge, right? When he got in office, right? Again, remember, we're super excited about Doge. Doge identifies $200 billion in federal programs that need to be cut, right? Waste, fraud, and abuse, all these kind of things, different ways to categorize how spending is done, which is very important if you ever own a business, right? This is called your ledger. Donald Trump was doing things through Doge that had never been done before. Well, what do you think Congress codified of those Doge cuts, right? If they found $215 billion in waste, fraud, and abuse, and again, far less than the $2 trillion Elon said he was going to find, but they found $2 trillion. What do you think Congress did with that information? Did they do anything with it? No, they didn't. They didn't do anything with it. They eliminated $9.4 billion in federal spending through USAID, NPR, and, God, what's the other one? NPR and, I always forget the last one. Anyway, the public National Public Broadcasting, and God, there's one more, PBS. They got rid of PBS, right? So that's all they did. That's all they codified. So again, now once another president comes in, guess what? All those cuts that they identified, right? All that waste, fraud, and abuse, it's gone, right? And now, if you guys look at the news today, you're talking about this new Todd Blanche guy who's replacing Pam Bondi. Everyone on Fox News is jerking off over waste, fraud, and abuse, okay? What happened to the waste, fraud, and abuse in Minnesota? Oh boy, they sure forgot about that real quick. Did anyone get arrested for that? Did they shut any of that down? Did the federal government close? Did the federal government not send any of that funding that they said they were going to send? No. It's all smoke and mirrors, guys. It's all bullshit. Now, you guys notice they're over in California. They're jerking off about the whole California waste, fraud, and abuse thing. That's all they can talk about. Okay? Are they really going to do anything over there? Probably not. They're just trying to get you guys to deflect from this war thing, right? And if you really want to go, like, why did they start this war thing? Odds are they started this war because of the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, right? So again, that's my big tinfoil hat conspiracy thing. I think that all roads lead back to Epstein. Okay, that's just how I kind of see it. But anyway, point is that the waste, fraud, and abuse, right? The stuff that Donald Trump ran, the stuff that he said he was going to do, the stuff that he started to do, it's all gone. And again, when they talk about waste, fraud, and abuse, it's all just to pacify you guys and give you something to make you think that the federal government is working. They're not working for you guys. Not at all. And it doesn't matter whether it's Democrat or Republican. They're not working for you. It's wildly frustrating. Okay, let's see here. ICT student 2.0. Auction man trying to be political protest. That's pretty funny. I've never called it an auction man. You're right. Get it at 500, 300, 300, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't talk like that. I only talk fast on the YouTube thing. And again, if you guys look at a lot of other YouTubers, look at a lot of other people that are on the internet, it's something that just happens, right? It takes a while to slow down. I used to talk faster. I've slowly kind of calmed the caffeinated, look down. But it's very difficult. Are you Canadian? No, I'm not. We do have some Canadians in here, though. All right, Ellie says, why? See, he did not use his own money to pay her off. He used a party donation. He also used donations from charities for his personal use. Again, I'm sure he did. Again, money is very fungible, and again, they can go after the guy for that kind of stuff. No problem. Again, but that's not a felony. I'm sorry, it just isn't, and again, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think that was worthy of all the resources and all the time and attention that they used. And again, Stormy Daniels talked about it in her book, right? I get it. He used, what was the lawyer's name? Was it, I keep wanting to say it's like Anthony Scaramucci, but I don't think it was that guy. He used his attorney to pay those guys off. I get it. Again, it's a bad look. Fine, great, move on. The embarrassment of paying off a hooker, when your wife, wasn't Melania pregnant at the time? Again, that whole look is terrible. And again, don't vote for the guy. But to go after this guy over and over again, and now you're going to talk about the woman that he supposedly raped at was it Bergdorf's, right? That high-end store in New York. Again, they brought back that from 20, 30 years ago, and then they created new laws to make the statute of limitations not apply in that case. Come on, man. You gotta see what's going on there. And again, I'm not saying Trump's a good guy. I'm not saying I agree with him. I'm not saying Trump's innocent. But at the same time, you cannot deny it. These people went after this guy like they've never gone after anybody. And they were threatening to put him in jail. You got people like Adam Schiff. You got people like Eric Swalwell. You got people that have done real fucking bad shit, right? Used your federal government to go after their political enemies. And again, no one goes after them. It's really wild what our government is willing to do and what they're not willing to do. And again, I think that these live streams, I think we've all seen enough, right? We're all plugged in enough to the internet that we kind of can piece all these dots together. And what we're seeing is that the government does not work for you guys. Doesn't matter what's Republican, doesn't matter whether it's Democrat. And they never go after their own. The problem with Donald Trump is he was a political outsider, right? I think this is why they went after this guy so hard, right? They did everything they could to not get this guy get elected. They even tried to kill him, but again, he's no longer going after them. And why is that? It's because he wants to secure his future. Again, it doesn't matter if you guys get fucked, in taxes and never get the stuff that you want from your federal government, right? You pay for the wars, you pay for the strippers, you pay for the illegals, you pay for everything. And the political machine just keeps moving, keeps breaking in the donations, the businesses pay off the politicians, taxpayer pays their 22.5% federal income taxes, you keep paying your Social Security, you keep paying your Medicare, you keep the pay-as-you-go schemes going. It's too bad, but this is a situation that we're in here. Okay, Happy Easter. This is Aikman says, Happy Easter, J. Paul. Yep. Happy Easter. All right, it is Easter. I keep forgetting that. See, unseen flyer. If you aren't involved in politics, it's only a matter of time before politics are involved with you. Yeah, and again, this is great. That's great saying, man. Great comment. This is unseen flyer, man. Appreciate it. 100% right. All right, Jeremiah, we're just going to keep removing your comments. Why not? All right, see, J. Paul, got you in Antichrist. All right, Smooth Band in Chinese, Yuan, petrodollar. Yeah, and again, one of the reasons that we're over the Middle East is to protect the petrodollar, and it's not going to work. People are going to start going around America, right? If you guys don't know the petrodollar came in when America helped Saudi Arabia develop their oil industry. Standard Oil went in there and literally showed those guys how to get oil out of the desert. And in order to do that, we signed an agreement with them that basically stated that anytime you guys sell oil, you're going to sell it in dollars, right? Which creates the demand for dollars throughout the world, which allows us essentially to print money. So learn a little about the petrodollars, guys. Nitrogen, yeah, again, this whole fertilizer thing this isn't really an American problem. All right, Smooth, which industries were tariffs supposed to fix? Which industries were tariffs supposed to fix? So tariffs aren't supposed to fix any particular industry. What it's supposed to do is it's supposed to bring the work back to America, right? Not by not by raising prices necessarily on the other stuff, but by making it more, allowing businesses in America to get more swings at making sales, right? And that means that more businesses might do the math and say, you know what, instead of producing over in the third world, we're gonna hire people here. Hey, we're gonna build a factory here. Or hey, we're gonna go rent out this old building. We're gonna fix that building up. We're gonna put some Americans in there, right? That's all the tariffs are supposed to do. It's just to give businesses more swings at making sales, and again, as a small business owner, as a guy who owns a company that has 9 employees, right, that manufactures American-based furniture, I can tell you definitively that my business made more money and got more sales because of tariffs, right? When you make it more expensive to buy Restoration Hardware's furniture, when you make it more expensive to buy Theodore Alexander's furniture, when you make it more expensive to buy Sauder's furniture, to buy Our House's furniture, to buy Williams-Sonoma furniture, Pottery Barn furniture, that gives me more opportunities to make those sales, and that's exactly what happened. And you might say, oh, well, God, well, people want to be able to buy cheap shit. Like, I get it. You'll still have lots of choices. There'll still be plenty of American businesses that would sell a cheaper grade of product. You can buy a CNC-made cabinet. You can buy a cabinet that's cut by a machine and assembled by guys that make the minimum wage. You can have all that. You can get that cheap furniture. But the other thing that it does, which is why it probably wasn't as successful as tariffs would have otherwise been, is because what happens is that you make the American regulations and the American regulatory environment that we have here, you make it apply to everyone. And this is what big business doesn't want. This is what the average American does not want. The average American doesn't want to understand that the shirt, right, that they're wearing has a lot of dye in it, right? And that dye can't be put in the ocean or in the lakes or in the rivers here in America, right? We got regulations that keep that from happening. But if you buy that t-shirt from Thailand or China, that's where it goes. And that's one of the reasons that it costs $5 as opposed to buying an American one that might cost 20. Okay. All of these regulations that we have in America stack up. And this is the thing that most Americans don't understand about everything that they buy. We here in America, we have a lot of luxury beliefs here. We have a lot of suicidal empathy. We'll say, oh my God, we want clean air and clean drinking water, while all the shit that we buy has none of those regulations. Okay. And this is one of the things that tariffs are supposed to help with. And again, as an American manufacturer that owns a paint company, do you know what it takes to spray high gloss lacquer here in America? Okay, the amount of explosion-proof bullshit that we have, the amount of fucking boost, halon systems, all the shit that we have to have just to be able to spray that furniture here in America, okay, that doesn't exist in China. It doesn't exist in Vietnam, where 80% of all the cabinets and all the kitchen cabinets, all the vanities are made. Okay, so it makes it much more difficult to make that shit here in America. It's not all about wages. It's not all about benefits. There's a massive regulatory environment that, again, you guys aren't participating in every time you buy something in the third world. And a lot of you guys will say, well, that's great. We'll have the clean air and the clean drinking water here, and we'll let all those other guys do it, okay? That's why you guys can't make American wages. That's why the third world comes in here and does the work that you guys should be doing, is because, again, you keep stacking all these regulations, permitting at every level, inspections at every level. This is why you guys can't build, high-speed rail in California. You can't rebuild the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore, Maryland, is because, again, you guys can't get out of your own way. And this is what happens when you manufacture in the third world. When you actually do the work someplace else, it means you don't have to do it here. And again, you let politicians, you let academia tell you guys, oh my God, just go to college, get a college degree, you'll work in an office, everything's going to be great. You guys find out that's not working. It's not working anymore. It worked for about 15 years, and now everyone's struggling. So okay. But I appreciate your comment there. Great comment, dude. All right, let's see. This is Billy Bear 61. You're so informed. You have zero facts. Just talking about it. Okay, well, dude, I got 2 monitors in front of me. That's nothing but facts. So again, you can dispute my facts. That's fine. Do the research yourself, and that's what I tell everyone. All right, you're talking about Ayatollah regime, a mistake at the cost 30 years. Iran taking out Ayatollah regime, a mistake at the cost of 30 years Iranian suffering. Well, I don't know. It sounds to me like what actually used to happen in Iran is Iran actually wanted to have their own energy supply, right? They wanted to have their own energy for Iran, and our CIA and America said, fuck that, you're going to sell that on the open market like everyone else, and we got rid of their dictator, installed our own dictator, and I think that's actually the real story, but I could be wrong, So, all right, lies, all right, Eisenhower, okay, again, lots of comments, guys. I'm going to go down to the very end. You want your comment read right away. You're going to have to do super chats and super likes. There's no way to keep up. All right, this is Docker 3159. NATO needs America way more than the reverse, but America asked them to join a potentially nuclear World War III, and getting pissed that they didn't is ridiculous. Yeah, and again, I think, Docker, you're 100% right. It's not, again, it's not a binary issue. If you want to negotiate with NATO, you negotiate with them before you close the Strait of Hormuz. You negotiate with them before you go to war, right? This is what George Bush called the coalition of the willing. Like, you got to get some people to want to do the thing that you want to do. But if you're just like, fuck it, we're going to go alone, then you're going to go at it alone, and then you don't chastise people after the mistakes have already been made and claim that they got to help you fix it. Like, that's just ridiculousness. It doesn't make any sense, So I like your comment, dude. It seems like you got common sense, which is really nice. So, all right. And again, one of the things I always talk about in this cast, and I don't think that enough people know this, is that when you look at Europe, right? You look at something like NATO. All of these countries, you guys, they all have universal health care and universal child care. Okay, all of them. Israel, same thing. Universal child care, right? Universal health care. Ukraine, universal health care. Okay, when we protect all these countries, again, and NATO is not a coalition, it's not the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Okay, it's America and our massive fucking military. That's what it is. So again, Europe doesn't have to pay for its own defense, so it can afford childcare, it can afford healthcare, it can afford to promote the nuclear family, it can promote young people having kids, right? It can work on its population because it doesn't have to pay for its defense, okay? And the truth is, that's why all these guys have all this shit. You guys cannot have that in America, right? You got the defense, right? You got this massive military, which is great, but the thing that's different about all these other countries that we defend and America is they don't have massive oceans. They don't get along with their neighbors the way that America gets along with its neighbors. They don't have what we have yet. They have all the things that Americans claim they want all of a sudden. And again, if we don't give Americans what they want, I say it all the time. Like, you're going to end up with a country that looks like New York City, right? Where you have a democratic socialist, that Mondani guy. People are going to vote for socialism in this country. If American capitalism does not give the American people what it is they want through their voter network, right? The democratic republic that we have here. If we don't respond to the voters, we're in deep shit, guys. And again, the voters will absolutely vote in socialism. I believe it 100%. If you do not take care of the citizens, if you make life so unaffordable for the American citizen that, they'll vote for anything. They'll vote for anyone that will promise them a better life. And again, if we just expect that capitalism and we business owners are going to make everyone's lives better, and oh my God, just pick yourself up by your bootstraps, and oh my God, quit being lazy, take better care of yourself. If we tell people this, and again, too many people end up on the wrong side of that equation, guess what? Those people have the same vote that you do, and they will absolutely vote in socialism. They will vote all of our money away, right? Whatever, if I'm doing, $2 million a year in revenue, right? And maybe that nets me, say that nets me $250,000 a year in profit, right? They're going to take all of that. And they're going to give it to a bunch of other people that have other ideas about capitalism. If you're a guy that, you're making $1 million a year, because you're trading stocks, you're in finance, you're working for Goldman Sachs, whatever, they're going to vote in people to take your money. This will absolutely happen in this country. And again, as a capitalist, as a guy that works really hard and promotes working hard, I'm terrified of this. But I'll understand why they did it. Like, if we don't create a better country for the people that are here, this is what will happen, guys. So I say it all the time. We got to make a better country for the people that are here. We got to make a better country that works for more people. And again, if we continue down this K-shaped economy that we have, guys, again, if we try and distract people with wars in Iran, snatching leaders out of Venezuela, try and create World War III, the American people aren't dumb. They see what's going on here. They see that their lives aren't getting better, right? And then when the president comes in here, he says, well, we don't have money for health care. We don't have money for child care. And again, I don't necessarily believe we should pay for that shit. But when he comes in and says that, well, because we have to buy bombs, right? We got to pay for the military. We got to do $1.5 trillion for our military. And everyone's like, what the fuck, man? Like, I can barely afford a home. Like, I've been paying rent my entire life. You told me that when I got out of college, I'd be able to get a good wage, right? Send all the work to China, send all the manufacturing, send all that dirty work out of this country so I can have a nice, clean office job and have the nuclear family. Where is it? If we don't get back to a place where the average American gets excited about life, about going to work, about working on this country, if we don't get more where 51% of the people think that the situation is working, they will vote in socialism, guys. They will vote for the most radical shit you guys could ever think of. And this is how I started out this conversation, talking about what life was like when Joe Biden was president. This is why we elected a guy like Donald Trump, who was speaking in absolutes. Largest deportations in history, closing the border, ending foreign conflicts, a lot of absolutes. That's what people voted for, and he hasn't delivered. Massive scam, guys, massive scam. So anyway, sorry, that's a long run there. Okay, America doesn't plant corn or cotton anymore. Okay, well, I get, what are you calling that? Are you calling that progress, dude? I'm not sure what you're saying there. Okay, continue on, guys. All right, scrolling down, going towards the end. All right, who we got in here? This is, see, Jeremiah, we're not even reading your comments anymore. You're not bringing anything. All right, Docker B3159, it's insane how you say American manufacturing, but you import from the third world. Okay, Docker, what are you saying? What, because I make brass hardware in India? What, do you think that 10% of all the revenue and the jobs that we create here in America, making all American furniture, what you're saying that I'm not being honest, right? That I'm somehow, what am I, a charlatan? Like what exactly are you saying? Are you one of these binary people? Like, what if I say that I don't support the war in Iran, that I hate the military, I hate America? That kind of is what you're saying, dude. Again, I employ a company, or I have a company that employs 9 people. We ship furniture all over America. It's all 100% made in America. Now the hardware is made in India, right? But there's no industry like that in America. Now, if you want to tariff that industry into oblivion, you want to put 100%, 340% tariffs on India, well, guess what? I won't buy that anymore, and then I'll have to find something that's made in America. I won't have a choice. And again, this is why I support 400% tariffs on the third world. Okay? And again, as a guy who makes stuff in the third world, 10% of my revenue probably comes from making hardware in India. Okay? I'm very open about it, so I don't know what to tell you, dude. I appreciate your comment. All right, let's see. In the age of stagflation, yes, we're moving towards stagflation, guys. Again, low or negative employment, we're steadily increasing prices. And that's where we're going, guys. So, and again, you guys wait till the new GDP numbers come out. You wait till the new inflation numbers come out. It's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad, because this whole energy thing is affecting this economy more today than it did in Biden's administration. It's affected a lot more than it even did in the 70s, right, when we were getting a ton of oil from the Middle East, So, gonna be kind of scary. All right, Tidy Man, 1595, BS Now Facts. All right, cool, appreciate it. All right, this is Dylan B, 3468. All right, USA has great water, energy, and farmers. What do you mean? Yes, of course, America has all kinds of great industries. They wasn't talking about the farmers, okay? But again, the economic model for farming today isn't like what it was 50 years ago. Economic farming today does not work without exports. It's very rare that you find a mid-tier farmer that doesn't export to the third world, okay? And again, that's fine, but again, farmers used to be able to produce enough food for America, right? Farmers used to be able to produce enough food for themselves, their neighbors, and their communities. The model doesn't work that way anymore. I'm sure there are farmers out there where it does work. Again, I'm not an agriculture expert, but I do know that a lot of our economy works on exports. So again, you can say that's a good thing. I don't necessarily think that's a good thing. All right. And again, water and energy. Who said anything? What do you mean? We have great water here, and we have great energy. The problem is we don't have enough. And again, if AI comes on, like I'm gonna go off on a little bit of a tangent for you guys, but there's different epochs in time. Okay, there's different evolutions in different kinds of life. Okay, and the idea is that we are at the lowest stage of evolution. Right, we're at this tiny organic tier, right? And there's another level to this shit, right? There's actually 3 main levels where if we want to increase our civilization and we want to become an interplanetary species, right? We want to get beyond this little tiny orb in this giant network of planets, right? If we want to do that, we essentially have to become an energy-based economy. We have to become an energy-based organism. Okay, and if that's the case, guys, we need a shit ton more energy, right? And I say it in all my streams. It seems like I say it all the time. Isn't it kind of interesting how when AI comes around, which is a massive energy scaling industry, I guess I would say, they are suddenly getting access to all the energy, right? And when it's not enough energy, right, everyone starts bitching about the cost of energy going up, which it has gone up significantly. They start to be able to make their own power stations. The government's like, yeah, we'll just waive the permitting. Like, we'll waive all that, so you guys can make all the power stations you need, okay? But the average American hasn't seen a new power station for decades. Okay, when's the last time we built a nuclear power station? When's the last time we built a coal power station, right? I think we're building natural gas still, but we're doing tons of solar panels and wind farms, okay? So again, the economy and our government is not working for the average American. It is working for these AI tech companies, right? Which is probably why they got their vice president, J.D. Vance, who's essentially the Manchurian candidate for the AI companies, right? For the tech bros, the tech oligarchy. So the economy doesn't work for you, or the government doesn't work for you guys, So again, when it comes to energy, again, America's got fantastic energy. It just doesn't have enough of it. And it can't seem to make any because, again, you guys want to have clean air, clean drinking water, tons of permitting, lots of inspections. You want to have the smartest, gayest, most culturally diverse, land-acknowledging, pronoun-having people in the world. And meanwhile, China builds has all the energy that it needs. All the other countries are able to build tons of shit, except Europe. Europe does the same thing America does. But again, you guys are so educated, you're so smart, you don't fucking do anything. And that's, again, sorry, that's just the truth. All right, let's see. Jeremiah says, "No, it's not hard to grow food." I know, man. U.S. great farmers. Yeah, and again, America has I think more agricultural land and more agricultural products that it makes for its own people and that it exports to any other country on earth. Okay, so I don't know what to tell you guys. All right, Iran uranium for energy. Aladdin says so. I'm not sure what Aladdin is. Uranium does make energy. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm not sure you said that. Okay, see, our great farmers. Half this chat is foreign bots. Yeah, it could be. Mike Cherry's back in there. Okay. You get your water, energy, and oil from Canada. Yeah, Mike Cherry, you're not wrong. Like, Mike Cherry lives up in Canada, and again, me and him go back and forth all the time, and he's 100% right. 50% of all the oil that America imports comes from Canada, and more of it will come from Canada. You know, Canada's an amazing trading partner, right? A lot of our softwoods come from Canada. You know, they got a massive timber industry. And I tell you guys all the time, I'm from the Pacific Northwest. I'm from Corvallis, Oregon, right? Which is 2 hours south of Portland, okay? We literally learned forestry in high school. Like, it's that much of an industry, right? So again, from an energy and a resource standpoint, Canada might be the most important partner that we have. And again, it's awesome because they're right above us. We don't even have to go across the ocean to go get what they have, right? We don't even have to go across the ocean to get oil anymore. America produces 13 or 14 million barrels of oil a day. You know, the shale, the high prices and the oil crash from the late 70s, right, into the early 2000s led to the shale revolution that we have here in America that is the dominant form of energy production in the world. You know, so Mike Cherry, man, you're 100%. I don't know what you're saying about the water energy. I mean, are you talking about like hydro? I don't know exactly what you're talking about there. You might have to educate me there. I'm not sure where you're coming from. All right, so this is Prince Kyriakos G47. You're wasting MAGA's time. I know. All right, smooth that. Nuclear fission does not equal ICBMs. 100%. Sorry, try again. Who's this? Canadian voice? I live in NB, Canada. Yes, I can grow food during -40 winter. I believe it. Okay, so we got a couple Canadians in here. So Canadian voice. Mike Cherry is also from Canada as well. So again, I'm a big advocate for Canada. Again, the hardest fucking people on earth as far as I'm concerned. Again, I used to do obstacle course racing. All of the most talented obstacle course racers are all from Canada. You know, because again, you guys have a lot of different climates up there. You got a lot of hills. You know, it's a very rough terrain that you guys have up there, and you just make hard people. You know, you also make some great singers, man. Bryan Adams, you know, Celine Dion. I mean, we could just go. There's so many great people come out of Canada. You guys, the proportion of known people to your population has got to be, like, it's got to be even better than America. It's pretty impressive what you guys do up there. All right, trust the Ayatollah for uranium. Okay, well, I don't tell you, dude. Okay, what could possibly go wrong? Yeah, I know. Again, that's everyone says that there's a massive problem over there in Iran and this uranium. I don't buy it. You know, I'm just one of these guys. I don't buy it, you know, and I could be wrong. And again, if you guys want to look back in history and say, well, God, every time a country's got a nuclear weapon, it's been terrible for humanity, I would argue, no, it's actually been better. If you guys want to look at any country that has been working towards getting a nuclear weapon, they're always using weapons offensively, which is what they always say about Iran. They're always fighting with the neighbors. The minute they get nuclear weapons, everything de-escalates. There's still a little bit of poking and prodding, a little bit of pushback, you know, but again, for the most part, things de-escalate. And again, everyone will say, oh, but they shout death to America. Okay, fucking man, everyone shouts death to their neighbors. Everyone shouts death to America. Like, what is that really all you guys need to hear? Oh, God, they're going to launch weapons at Israel. Okay, well, I don't necessarily believe that. They're not going to nuke Israel. I don't believe it. And maybe I'm wrong. Okay, well, that's between Israel and Iran. Okay, again, every time we go over there, we destabilize this entire region. America seems to get involved, right? And Israel seems to always be behind the majority of the information that we use to destabilize all these countries. Okay, so Israel's made its bed. Like, Iran is Israel's problem. That is not America's problem. Okay, and I don't want to see anything bad happen to Israel, but at the same time, you can't go talking shit your entire life and fucking up everybody in your neighborhood and expect your neighbors to not like you. Okay, I'm sorry, you just can't do it. All right, let's see if we can find someone doing here. Mike Cherry says, Mike Cherry, 2075. If it wasn't for Canada, you would be nothing, and you're about to see anything Canada gives you now 41% less as we are selling elsewhere. Yeah, I get Canada. I don't necessarily believe you, dude. Canada, Mike. I don't think that's actually accurate. But, I'm sure Canada is looking for other trading partners. That wouldn't surprise me one bit. But again, I think most Americans, we like Canada, right? What you're believing is you're believing our wacko president. You're believing this guy who just loves to talk shit about everyone. And I don't think most Americans think Canada's a bad country. I think most Americans really like Canada. I mean, it's a beautiful place. Guys, go up to Vancouver, British Columbia. Go to Whistler. Like, go ski. You want to see some beautiful places to go skiing? Go up there. Canada's a beautiful place. And again, I think that we can absolutely trade with Canada. The thing is that we have to bring the manufacturing back to America, not the resources. If Canada wants to sell us, wants to sell us plywood, wants to sell us aluminum, wants to help us build up our infrastructure here, great, no problem, no tariff. But again, you're not going to make shit for us. We got people here that need work, right? We got people here that aren't making a living wage, that need to make a living wage. Manufacturing has always been the solution to the middle class for Americans. It's been that way since the day it was started. Henry Ford doubled his manufacturing wages that he was paying for his factories, back around the turn of the century, so that his people could buy his products. He helped people get into the middle class. Okay, we've forgotten that today. We think that the way to make it in the middle class today, and the way we're able to afford things in America, is to outsource all the work to China so you can get cheap products, right? Go to college, which you have to pay for, by the way. Then you get a degree, and then you go work for one of these mega corporations and live the American dream. And that path doesn't work anymore. 51% of all the people that have a college degree today said their degree wasn't worth it. Okay, that's a sobering statistic. So anyway, that's just kind of what I say. But Mike Cherry, sorry you think that that America would be nothing without Canada. I actually say it was probably the opposite. But whatever, man. All right, Dylan Bully, 3468. You would stop your business immediately, and that wouldn't even. You would stop your business immediately, and that wouldn't even last a few years. Okay, you're gonna have to give me a little more information there, dude. Loopholes still exist. All right, again, you're gonna have to give us. You sound okay. You guys are giving me this. These are terrible comments, guys. All right, thank God we have you in here, Mike Cherry. All right, don't worry, Canadian voice. States are in stage 5 of collapse. Yeah, we're in trouble, dude. I'm not going to say you're wrong, but I don't know if we're in collapse. All right, no wars. All right, Dylan, see, that's all good, but where are the deportations? Yeah, there's no deportations, man. Again, people don't like seeing people drug out of homes. People don't like seeing protesters get run over. People don't like seeing the cops shoot people that are messing with law enforcement. And again, they don't mind seeing bombs go off in third world countries. They love bombing the other country. They love bombing poor people, brown people. They love that kind of stuff, but not so much here at home. The blue-haired fucking weirdos with the nose rings. They don't like that. But whatever. It is what it is. All right. Canadian Boy said you literally get paid to go to trade school, can make $80K as an apprentice in a trade other than cooking, get real skills, not dumb art degrees. And Canadian Voice, you're partially right. Trade schools aren't free, at least not here in America. Maybe they are in Canada. You do have to pay for them. They are much cheaper than college. And the road to accreditation or certificates, whatever you want to call it, apprenticeships, is significantly cheaper than trying to get a 4-year degree or a 2-year associate's degree, right? So it is much cheaper. We used to call apprenticeships just going to work. Like, I don't know what was wrong with that, but that apparently changed. We no longer just go to work out of high school. It's you're actually considered a loser, and still to this day, even though the blue-collar worker is making a comeback, you're still considered a loser if you go to work right out of high school, right? It means that you didn't make it into college. Somehow you failed along the way. And this whole 80-year degree, this whole $80,000 a year, is also bullshit. So if you guys go look at the stats, and again, I did a cast on this like a week ago. If you go look at the stats on what entry-level firemen make, what welders make, what electricians make, any of the major trades, it's about $60,000 to $70,000 a year. That's the truth. And again, you can scale that pay up, quickly, because a lot of these professions have a lot of overtime. You can build your skills up. You can make $100,000, $120,000 a year once you become a journeyman. Once you've put in 3 or 4 years, you can absolutely do it. But the truth is, if we go on the rule of averages, most people that do this kind of work are going to make anywhere from $70,000 to $90,000 a year. That's where their pay is going to end up at, and that's just the reality of it. So when you see guys like Mike Rowe and the people on Fox News, saying, "Oh my God, tradespeople are making $260,000 a year," it's pretty much bullshit. There are exceptions in every class, right? I tell you guys, if you want to become a very successful welder, to make $200,000 a year, here's how it works. As a welder, you're going to have to go out in the panhandle of Oklahoma, and you're going to have to go out and live in a tent, right? And you're going to have to go live off of a generator, and you have to go basically weld pipeline by yourself, or with a crew of people that are, again, you're going to be away for weeks at a time. You're not going to be around your family. You're not going to be around your kids. And these people make a ton of money. right? Other way, as a welder, to make a shit ton of money is you're gonna have to go out to an oil rig. You're gonna go out there. I think it's a week on, a week off, right? You're working 12-hour days. You're always on, and you're gonna have to go out there and you're gonna have to be an underwater welder. You'll make $250,000 a year. It's very dangerous. And again, you got to be away from your family, you got to be away from your kids. And this is how it works. And I've said it many times. In order to make $250,000 a year as a blue collar worker, a lot of time that means you're going to sacrifice your kids and you're going to sacrifice your marriages. This is the reality of being a blue collar worker, So, Canadian Voice, I appreciate your comment there. You're in the right direction, but I think you might be a little bit off. And again, the art degrees don't pay. They just don't. And again, if you're the exception and you're an art major, you're a historian major, you can make fat money. But the 99.9% of the people that get that degree aren't going to make that money. They're going to make average money at best. That's just the reality. So, all right, Karen McComber, 3678. Wow, talk about radical. Trump is doing exactly what we voted for him to do. Okay, well, again, Karen, I appreciate your comment, but what? What specifically? Give me 3 things that Trump's doing that you voted for, okay? Because I don't see it. Right? I don't see my mass deportations. I don't see my massive tariffs, right? I don't see ending foreign conflicts. I don't see any of that shit. I do see the closed border. I got that one. That's good. Went on him. I saw the tax cuts. He did that. He got his tax cuts done. I see that. But that's really about it. And again, I would much rather have less war in the third world and give back the tax cuts. But you can have the tax cuts, just end the wars. I don't need the tax cuts as a business owner. I'm fine with that. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. Get rid of all that shit. Just bring the fucking people home. Stop bombing everyone. Bring the cost of energy down, right? Let's make some more power stations. I think that's better for the country, So, but I appreciate your comment. Okay, let's see smoothly. Harris was campaigning with Liz Cheney. Yeah, well, that didn't work out too good for Liz Cheney, did it? All right, see, lazy people today, and lazy people mad that there isn't a white-collar job in the oversaturated city and wonder why rent is so high. Jesus comments. Yeah, and again, Canadian Voice, man, you sound like you got it figured out. I'm with you. Again, you're going to be the 10 millionth person to get a business degree. Really, do you think that's what fucking our economy wants? You're going to be the 10 millionth person to get a psychology degree. It's like every swinging dick with a textbook has a psychology degree. Again, you want to make money in this world? Just work hard. Show up on time. Do the things that most people don't want to do. And most people don't want to work outside. They don't want to work with their hands. They don't want to work where it's loud. They don't want to work where it's smelly. They don't want to hear where profanity is acceptable. Gay jokes are acceptable. They don't want to work in those environments. They don't want to work where the air is dirty, the water is dirty. They don't want to work in those environments. And the truth is that you make really good money doing that kind of stuff. Just do things that are hard. A lot of people don't want to do it. So, all right, Willerbean. See, if you don't support the war in Iran, explain how to disarm them of nuclear weapons. You don't. That's just plain and simple. And again, if you think that they've got nuclear weapons, if you think that they're going to fire them at us, if you think they're going to fire them at Israel, great. I can't convince you of anything, dude. I just don't. I think the problem will solve itself. This is how I see it. But again, America needs to pull out of this place. We need to come back to America. Let Israel fight its own fights, right? If Israel and Saudi Arabia and Qatar and again all their neighbors, Syria, Turkey, if they all want to get along, they'll have a lot of harmony over there. They'll have a lot of business over there, and they'll all get rich and they'll all have a merry time. But the truth is that they're all probably going to fight each other because of this one little tiny country in there that's destabilizing everything. You guys think it's Iran? No, it's the other one. It's called Israel. They're working on the Greater Israel Project, and that's what they're going to do. The problem is that I'm not going to be a part of it. Our country should not be a part of it. Right? Those guys want to, do what they want to do. Let them go do what they want to do. But again, I don't think nuclear weapons are a problem. I just don't. Sorry, I'm just one of those guys. Again, I just am. If you disagree with me, give me the evidence that that Iran has nuclear weapons, right? Give me the evidence that Iran is making nuclear weapons. Give me the evidence that Iran is going to go after Israel, that Iran is going to go after America, Iran is going to go after Qatar, Iran is going to go after. Give me the evidence. There isn't any. It's all speculation and hyperbole. There's no evidence. So. Again, I'm not saying that anyone should have nuclear weapons. I wish that we lived in a world where nuclear weapons don't exist. But the truth is that they're a massive stabilizer. It's just the truth. I subscribe to the idea that it might not be such a bad thing to let every country have a nuclear weapon. Again, it makes peace, not war, right? Because of MAD, right? Mutually assured destruction. It seems to work. It's worked for 70 years at this point. So, all right. Dylan, 40. Inflation is a non-issue? Wow. Inflation is a non-issue. Huh. Well, tell that to the young person that's trying to buy a home today. Tell that to the young person who's making $80,000 a year and isn't really even middle class. Inflation is an issue, right? Tell that to the guy who's trying to put gas in his car. It costs $100. He's never seen prices so high. You tell that to the person who, when they actually do get the money to buy a home, their property taxes are so high that they can't afford to keep the home, right? Tell the guy who's, buys a car, right, and then has to go get insurance for it, finds out the fucking insurance costs more than the car payment. Inflation is a non-issue. Inflation is the issue, if you ask me. The printing of money, the amount of money that we print, to support all your guys' programs is the problem. The amount of war that the amount of destabilization and war that we proliferate throughout the world, it's all done on debt, guys. It's all done on debt. Again, the reason $80,000 isn't a good salary like it was when I was growing up is because we printed. Since I was young in be 2003 maybe, like what have we printed, like $30 trillion? Like inflation is literally the problem, So anyway, I don't know what you're saying there, dude, but that's all you get from me. Okay, let's see. If you had nukes, you don't think there would have used them by if they had nukes, you don't think they would have used them by now? No, I don't. And again, Mike Cherry, let me know, give me another example of where this has happened, right? So this is going to be the one time you think that they're going to nuke Israel, they're going to nuke Saudi Arabia, they're going to nuke America. Again, plenty of countries have said death to America. Plenty of countries have said death to their neighbors. Like, again, where's the example where the only ones ever dropped a nuke was us? Like, I don't know. Again, maybe I'm dumb. Like, maybe I just, oh my God, like someone says death to America, would I get my panties in a bunch? Like, yeah. How do you guys think the world works? Like, I don't, again, you guys ever been in sales before? I mean, how many times have you ever heard someone talk shit to you, tell you never fucking call them again, tell them, hey, I hate you, I hate your product, and then you pick up the phone, you call them again the next day? Like, like, come on, man. I feel like a lot of people just don't live in, they live in the illusion of how they want things to be, not what's actually happened, So anyway, Mike, I disagree with you. I like your comment though, but explain to me what evidence you have of them being the exception, right? All right, songs were at 87. I thought nuclear sites were completely obliterated just months ago. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, Trump is famous for this. Trump always claims victory no matter what he does. Trump gets up in the morning, takes a shit, and claims victory. Like, oh my God, best shit ever. High quality shit. No one's ever shit like me before. No one's ever seen a shit like mine before. Like, this is all this guy does. It's again, from a president, it's fun when he's working on your country. It's not so much fun when he's destabilizing the rest of the world, and tarnishing our name and making all of our old allies hate us. It's very different. So, yeah, again, I don't believe anything Trump says. And again, I'm a lifelong Trump guy, and I just can't take his bullshit anymore. It just doesn't work anymore. So, all right, Mike, this is Mike. Okay, you do not have much energy. I know, Mike. I'm not disagreeing with you, man. Again, we seem to really get excited about creating more energy power stations when AI needs it, not so much when the average American needs it, right? Not when the average Americans, a lot of their money is now going towards paying for regular old energy, paying for gas, paying for LNG, paying for gasoline, right? The country doesn't work for Americans anymore. So, Mike, I agree with you what you're saying there. Are you saying that we get a lot of our energy from Canada is kind of what, I know we get a lot of oil. I don't know about the rest of it. So, Mike, tell me, does America get a lot of, are we getting wind energy? Are we getting hydro energy? Like, where does this energy that you're talking about come from? I don't know. I need your input, dude. Okay. Do you think if Iran just tasted a Burger King, they would chill out and want to be friends? No, I don't. And again, I'm one of these guys that, again, it would be nice if everyone just wanted to chase money. It would be nice if everyone just wanted to chase capitalism. It would be nice if everyone could get into the Abraham Accords and everyone just wants to make money. That would be nice. I don't think that actually works, So. All right, let's see. Yellow wood, Canada. Yeah, pine, baby, pine. Like Canada, doesn't Canada have a ton of Doug fir as well? Like, I think Canada has just a shit ton of Doug fir, which was like the main tree we had there in Oregon and Washington, and a lot of pine, man. Just a ton of pine. Okay, let's see who wants to war after eating a chicken royal. I love it. Canada says 4.2 million barrels of oil a day. I know, and again, Mike, I know the oil. I say it all the time. Like, I don't know what you're saying, man. All right, Ellie says, so Shania Twain. Hell yeah, man. Shania Twain, man, great singer. Married to Mutt Lange, by the way. He was the guy that made all the AC/DC and Metallica records. Man, Shania Twain, man, she's a great singer. Great story, too, by the way. Love her. Okay, lay off the soy milk. No, don't do soy milk. Like, Cherry. That's redacted. Bruno's in here. Your own rules. All right. The ones that have garbage degrees, zealots. This is okay. If you do not at least decent in high school, most of the time your trade will be paid for. So AJ, what you're saying is that if you do shitty in high school, that they'll just pay for your degree. I don't think that's how it works, But I could be wrong. I know that what we have been doing for a long time is we've been telling fucking idiots like myself, people who sucked at high school, who were not good at sitting in a classroom. They told us, "Oh, don't worry, you're going to get smarter once you go to college." That much I do know, and that didn't work out so well. So I'm not sure what to say there, but let us know. All right, blue hair degrees don't get good jobs. Well, yeah, unless they're in government, guys. If they're in government or academia, they absolutely do. And again, I see the guys down at the fucking coffee shop when I go down there. Trust me, it's a whole collective of blue-haired, bull-nose ringing lesbians, all making shit tons of money doing research at the university. Okay, so clearly there's some people making good money. Mike Cherry, okay, as of yesterday, Canada has received 3,000 requests to come to Canada for America. Great, I'm sure they receive requests all the time. Again, Canada's beautiful. You guys are Americans, you want to go live in an amazingly beautiful place that isn't overpopulated, go live in Canada, right? You can also live in America. It's a little place that's called Idaho. Anyway, all right, let's see, yep, all right. Rudy Armanta, 3512, as today, Canada still call themselves Americans. Okay, I've got no idea. Okay, guys, this is Andrea Ryan, 3964. I'm blue collar and blue hair, mastered granite fabrication. I made barely $40,000 a year. Bought my first house at age 26. That's awesome. Is it Andrea, I think? I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I hope that's true. Okay. I'm blue collar and blue hair, mastered granite fabrication, and made barely $40,000 a year. Bought my first home at age 26. Okay, well, you're probably an older person. Again, I was not a blue-haired person. I was a high school dropout, made $40,000 a year and bought my first home when I was like 21, 22 years old. So maybe you're my age, maybe you're a little bit older, but yeah, you can do it. And again, blue collar, we don't give a shit what you look like. All we care about is you can do the work, right? All that we care about is that we can count on you to help us, right? That we can kind of work as a team, that we can get shit done. That's all we care about. See, finished wars, tax cuts, deportating. Yeah, again, we're not getting a lot of that, Rudy. I don't know if what you're saying. Oh, you don't see anything. You refuse to see. You don't see anything. Yeah, I guess so. We got a lot of people. They live in a bubble, guys. They're tribal echo chambers. They only want to hear what they want to hear. They all want to see what they want to see. And again, I hope that people, when we do this cast, they kind of understand that. Again, some people think I'm fairly Republican. Some people think that I'm fairly liberal, Democrat, whatever. And I think that's the goal. I think you kind of want to be in the middle because the truth is there's a lot of nuance in life, guys. And hopefully we're seeing some of that. All right, Hairliner 6550. We've been at war for what, a month? Give me a break. Okay, again, I love your mindset. I love your rosy outlook on the situation. I don't have that same outlook. So, but I appreciate your comment. All right, let's see, with the blue jobs, this is JPOL 3808. Okay, with the blue jobs, if you do your due diligence, you can become a very profitable business owner. Yeah, and again, that's the path that I took. Right? Again, I just worked hard doing this blue collar thing for 20 years. Got good at enough. I found a person that was good at the things that I'm not good, like sales, at design. And I took my skills and we grew this company into what it is today. And it's a decent middle class living. And again, I think more people in America need to do that. I think we need more business owners in this country so that they'll see how fucked over the bulk of our society has been by outsourcing the work to China, by telling everyone to go to college and then letting large corporations bring labor into this country and employ them instead of you guys. Letting large corporations increase regulations, right? Use the academic institutions that push things like climate change, carbon credits, OSHA, EPA, safety culture, push all this shit, right? And then they basically give the businesses the incentive and the okay to increase all the regulations here in America while they send all the work to places where none of that regulation exists. And this is America today. And again, Trump was supposed to come in, increase tariffs massively to shut that shit off so that, again, Americans are forced to live in the, and Americans and large business are forced to live in the country that we've created, which is a hyper-educated, no child having, over-regulated group of pussies. This is how I see it. So, all right, J-Ball, like your comment, dude. Appreciate being here, man. All right, Bruno Perretta, B5R, we have no war. Okay, all right, Andrea Andrea, God, I wish I could say, is it Rayer? Or no, Rain. I'm sorry, Andrea Rain, 3960. If you're a chick, man, I hope you're a chick. YouTube is made up predominantly of men. As a furniture maker, I sell most of my furniture to women. 94% of my customers are women. I'm the guy that makes the high gloss lacquered furniture you can see your face in, right? I have the paint company and the furniture company. We make it and we paint it. So anyway, if you're a female, it's great. We don't get a lot of them in here. Okay, who is we? I take you're not from the USA. No, Andrea, I am from the USA. I was born and raised in Corvallis, Oregon. I moved all over the country chasing aerospace work, became really good at making furniture and dealing with planes, right? Private jets and defense planes. And moved up to from Savannah, Georgia, then moved over to St. Louis, Missouri, which is where I'm at today. All right, Mike Cherry. We have never called ourselves American ever, but facts be told, Americans say they're from Canada when they travel abroad. That's up with them. Okay, that's actually really funny. So, Mike, I don't believe that you're correct there, but you are painting a very clear picture of what patriotism looks like, right? You're painting a very clear picture, I think, of what most people think about their country, right? So now I want you to apply that to the country of Iran. I want you to apply that to the country of Syria. I want you to apply that to every country over in the Middle East that we've destabilized. You think that those people aren't proud of who they are? You think that those people aren't become more defensive of the country when a foreign invader comes in and talks shit about them or bombs them or kills their grandparents? Do you really think that that's how it works? You know, they're going to greet us as liberators? Okay, I'll tell you another story real quick, Mike. So I spent a bunch of time in New Zealand, and I remember when I went there, it was nice that they spoke English, so I didn't have to learn a language. They looked like me, all this kind of stuff. Well, when I went there, they would ask me like what my life was like, right? They would ask me, what it's like in America, and they were kind of curious. And I would start to tell them at the time, I had a 4,000-foot Queen Anne Victorian home, right, that I bought when I sold my first home that I bought when I was 21. I think I bought this home when I was probably 27. And so I'm describing this beautiful Victorian home, these 3 levels, this beautiful painted lady, yada, yada. I was driving a Hummer at the time. And again, I made really good money. I was very good at what I did. And so I'm telling them what my life is like. And a lot of them were laughing at me. And they thought it was just such a joke what I was saying to them. And when I finally when I kind of learned to befriend some of these people, but basically what they thought about me when I got there was they thought I was a big fat Texan, right? And they thought that, everything's big in America. America has big everything, big houses, big cars, big steaks. This is why everyone's so fat, And they had this caricature of what America was, and I was kind of playing into it because what I would describe my life to be as a young man, they could never understand in New Zealand because truth is most people in New Zealand are poor. They could never understand. Most people around the world are poor. Canada, in comparison to America, you guys are poor. It's not that your quality of life isn't great. Like, you guys just don't understand how good we have it here. Most people don't understand how good they have it in America. That's why when people come in here to our country, they're blown away when they see about what the possibilities are. When they see how we live, they've never seen anything like it. It's literally like watching The Wizard of Oz for the first time, and everything's in black and white. And then suddenly, when Dorothy goes to Oz, she wakes up and everything is in color. It's like you realize, like, oh my God, like this kind of thing exists. Like, I didn't even know this was possible. Holy shit, you can never look at life in black and white again, So, Mike, I like your comment, man, but I think you need some perspective, dude, if I'm being completely honest. Hero Liner, 6550, he just let them fire on us. Right, not sure what you're saying there. Okay, guys, we're going to look for some good comments here. Blue Hair Got Brains. Not made for humanities. Not made for humanities studies or black history. Blue Hair Got Brains, not MD for humanities studies or black history. Yeah, I'm not sure you said that. Okay, guys, let's see around the comments. Okay, clearly I'm a little bit behind. Actually, I'm doing okay. Andrea, we're going to read some of your comments. Then I'm going to get to the next topic that I want to talk to, right? I want you guys to tell me, where does this war end, right? So if America wins, if America loses this war in Iran, right? Iran, I should say. My wife always beats me up when I say Iran or Iran. Iran. If we win this war, if we lose this war, what's the end game? Who's it better for? Who's it worse for? Because at the end of the day, guys, there is a winner and a loser. Doesn't matter what you guys say. You can't say, oh, everyone's a loser, everyone's a winner. Like, again, you got to say, what does America win? What does America lose, right? What does Iran win? What does Iran lose, right? What does Europe win? I want to know what you guys think. How does this help your country? Because, again, everyone's affected. So we got people in Canada. How's this war going to help you guys? How's it going to hurt you guys? Because whether or not you guys like it, you're involved. This is not a war that you could just, look the other way on, go and fucking, hang out with, whatever, go watch hockey and pretend the war is not happening, because it is, right? It affects everyone. All right. Jay Paul says Rudy, America may not have invented greed, but they sure embrace the term once they learned it. Yeah, 100%, man. Again, it's why we got the greatest country on earth. It's why everyone wants to be an American. You guys can say, "Oh, America sucks. America's not this." Everybody wants to come here. All right, it's the only country that, again, people are fucking dying and lying, cheating, and stealing, do whatever they got to do to get here. There's not very many countries that people do that with. So, all right, Andrea Rain, 39. Okay, hard work and commitment make college worth it. Acknowledge it's always worth paying. Okay, knowledge is always worth paying for, but then again, I paid for my own. Okay, Andrea, I think that what you're saying there probably holds true for everything. College is not worth what you pay for. It's not worth it. And again, 51% of all people that went to college say their degree wasn't worth it. The time that they wasted wasn't worth it. And again, when you enter into an agreement, right, with the college versus the business, right, then this is what the people that go to college for. They always blame the business. They never blame the college for their bullshit degree. You enter into a situation where, hold on, what do we read one more time? Hard work make college worth it. Knowledge is always worth paying for. But then again, I paid for it on my own. Okay, and again, what you're saying there about paying for your own, most people who go to college don't pay for it on their own. They don't. They get a guaranteed student loan, right? And you end up creating a group of people that feel entitled, right? You feel a group of, hey, I did the thing I was supposed to do, right? Even though you didn't actually work to pay for it, which would actually change the course of how many people go to college if they actually had to pay for it. But what ends up happening is you end up in a situation where the college degree, because there's so many of them, doesn't pay out in the real world what it's supposed to pay, right? And then the college the people that got the degrees, they always get mad at the businesses, right? Even though the fucking colleges are the ones that gave them the bullshit degrees, they gave them the knowledge, right? So when you say things like knowledge is always worth paying for, no, it's not. It's not. It used to be. It just isn't anymore. And this isn't hate on college. This isn't hate on people that go get college degrees. I'm not trying to do the whole class thing, white collar versus blue collar. It's just, it's undeniable. The college degree is not worth what it used to be worth, because we got too many people that went and got the college degree. And then the businesses, we lose out on the loyalty, right? Again, the employees have no loyalty to the employer. The employer has no loyalty to the employees. And this all started by when we started sending people to college. Why should the business just hire people coming out of college? Why should the business hire the people that their dad worked for? Or why should the business hire the people from the guy who worked there for 30 years, right? Why should they just hire that guy? Okay, those days are over. The businesses want the pick of the litter. They want the very best of the colleges. And they tell you that no matter what you do when you're in high school, go to college, you're going to get a degree, you're going to go work for one of these businesses. It doesn't work that way anymore, guys. That loyalty is not there anymore. And it's always the employee. Oh my God, this fucking company, they won't pay me whatever. This is bullshit. But I went and got a college degree. But they never look like, hey, maybe you should have went and got that degree. But I was supposed to. Okay, well, maybe the system that we have today where the businesses get their pick of the litter when it comes to employees, maybe the system needs to change. Maybe it's time to have businesses just start hiring people out of high school. Like, let's just fucking hire people. Maybe we shouldn't outsource all the manufacturing to the third world. Maybe we ought to just hire people out of high school and pay them a living wage, right? Pay them a good salary. Maybe we ought to give young people enough money to where they want to have kids. Maybe we should give people enough money. And I'm not saying just give them through taxes. I'm talking about giving them through jobs. Maybe we just try and work on the people that we have here, and give them some options. Maybe go to college didn't work out. Maybe it's not such a good thing. Maybe we should tariff the rest of the world so that we can then force business owners to hire the people. And maybe we should kick the third worlders that are in here doing all the work that Americans don't want to do. Maybe we should kick those people out and then make the businesses hire the people. Oh, God, everything will get more expensive. Yeah, I get it. But you're going to pay an American wage. Maybe it would help this country with the regulation burden, the tax burden that we have here today, if the businesses had to actually operate in the world that they've created. If the academics had to operate in the world that they've created. But we don't want to do it. You guys are terrified of high prices. You're terrified of tariffs. You're terrified of kicking the third worlds out here, and you might actually have to go build a house. You might actually have to go work on your own car. You might actually have to get dirty. You might have to hear words you don't want to hear. And this is the world we've created. It's too bad. It's really too bad. So, Andrew, I like your comment, man. Main moments today. What's Soros Endgame? What's Soros Endgame? I don't even know if that guy's relevant today. And Andrews. Own private Idaho. They don't want you, by the way. Okay, cool, man. Ryan, so the movie stars knew it and teach it to the blue-haired people. All right, that's what you're saying there. Says, Andrew says, I'm 37. Oh, amazing. You're younger than I thought. That's pretty cool. So you bought your own home, right? Andrew, I want to go back to your comment. I want to understand your story because we need other people to see if you did it. Let's see how you did it. What do you said you make 40K, right? You're 37 years old and you bought your home. You bought your first home at age 26. Okay, Andrew, tell us how you did it. I'm going to go to the very end. I want you to type it in here. And I'm going to read Mike's comment real quick. Andrew, I want you to put it. Tell us what you guys did. Tell us how you made $40,000 a year and you bought your first home at 26. All right, let's hear it. And again, you're a self-learned granite worker, right? Which is really cool. All right, put it in the comments. And again, Andrew, I'm going to go to the very end here after I read Mike's comment. Mike Cherry, Quebec Hydro sent it to 40 million people in the Northeast, I believe, by Boston, Philly area. Out west, the water goes to the water hydro plant that gives hydro to the south, about 150 million people. That's really cool, man. Again, I don't know much about the hydro industry, but it wouldn't surprise me if you guys did a ton of that. You got all those mountains, right? It seems like you could create a lot of hydropower there, you know? So again, I think that's really cool, man. Again, this is one of the reasons we need other countries. We need to do business with other countries, right? But the manufacturing side of it, the making shit, you got to do it here. Because the truth is, guys, most people are average. And I don't try to be a dick about this, but again, most people aren't going to be engineers. Most people aren't going to be doctors. Most people aren't going to be lawyers. Most people aren't going to be psychologists. Most people aren't going to do this kind of work. Most people aren't going to be business owners. It's very difficult to do. We have to have an economy that works for the majority of the people. And we don't have that today. You know, so, all right, Mike Cherry, love your comment. All right, to Andrea, let's see if you're going to put your information at the end here. Let's read your comments. Andrea says, it's always good to search up job return upon graduation. You cannot go to college for something completely asinine either. Yeah, that's a good point. $28,000 in Watersville? I've never even heard of Watersville, Michigan. I sell a lot of furniture in Michigan, by the way. I know Michigan very well as a furniture maker. I've never heard of which job. So are you saying you bought a home there for $28,000? Is this a suburb of Detroit where all the home prices there cratered after the great financial crisis? I'm curious. Andrew says 20,000 or 4 acres in country land contract. Okay, Andrew, I'm trying to figure out what you're saying. Worked 60 plus hours in granite factory, late second shift. I hated it, but I bet you got really fucking good at it, right? This is one of the things I tell you guys. You guys want to make it as an idiot, as a normie dude, just show up every day. Volunteer for everything. Work 60 hours a week, and guess what? You'll get better at what you do twice as fast. All right, or excuse me, 50%. I said that incorrectly. 50% is fast. Okay, Bugger24. He created modern woodworker since he gets a train around on him every day. All right, love it, man. Thanks, dude. I appreciate your comment. All right, Bridgeport, Michigan, Capital Granite. Granite union job. Nope, 3 hours north of Detroit. Okay, so is there a lot of people there? Is this a high density area? Is this one of these little tiny small towns that we have? Like, I live in Alton, Illinois, small town. I'm curious. So you're basically saying that you make a little bit of money, right? You're making a $40,000 salary, which is not a lot. That's like almost poverty, by the way. You're able to buy a home for $26,000, right? You do this thing, which is work with granite, and you're able to make it work. I think that's great. Again, I think if a lot of people could do that, they would absolutely do it. You know, so maybe that's something you guys could do. Between Caro and Saginaw. Okay, cool. Relatively Saginaw suburb. Okay, well, again, I don't know that area very well. Obviously, I've heard of Saginaw, but very cool. Okay, well, guys, what are we at? We're at 119 minutes. I think I read through most of the comments. You guys have been great today. I appreciate everyone participating today. I didn't hear anyone talk about the end game. This is one of the things I asked you guys to do. If you guys are in the stream, hit the like button. We almost got 30 likes. I asked people to put questions in here. I asked for good comments, right? And the conversation can veer off course, which is fine. I don't mind that. I like to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. But at the same time, you guys got to put something in there that I ask you to put in. And if you're not going to do that, I'm just not going to continue to do the stream. So I need to know the end game. I need to know where this war is going, right? If America wins this thing and Iran submits, right? What does America look like in 6 months, 12 months, 5 years, whatever you want to say? Pick your time. What does America look like? If you're in Canada, what does the war look like if America pulls out, right? What's Canada look like? You know, this is the conversation we have today. We started today talking about how MAGA is essentially a massive psyop, right? It's a massive scam. You know, and again, a lot of you guys say that you support Trump, which is great, but you don't put any reasons why. You say that Trump's successful. You don't put any reasons why. You just parrot this thing almost like you're automatons, right? Like you can't think for yourselves. You know, when we ask these questions, well, give me some specifics, give me some nuance. A lot of people don't have very much. You know, we got people in here like Andrea, which are participating. We got people in here like Mike who participate. We got JP380. JPol 380 again. I'm going off memory here. You know, we got people like Sun, we got people like Titan, we got a lot of people that come in this chat. We got Jim Rat, we got people that come in this chat. I always try to remember you guys, and we ask these questions and we bat these topics around. But if you guys are new to this cast, right? This isn't me just reading your fucking retarded comments. This is a conversation back and forth with a lot of people that want to talk about things, you know. So if you guys don't want to participate, if we're just gonna get bullshit comments in here. Like, I'll go do something else. I got a foyer that I'm redoing, right? I got, you know, trim I got wallpaper I got to hang. I got a business I got to go. I don't have to do this shit, but I do it because a lot of people seem to really like it, you know. So let's get something in here that goes to what I want to talk about, and let's bat this topic around here. Otherwise, we're just going to go home. So again, we're at 29 likes. Let's get 30 in here. All right, let's see. Mr. Dunham's here. Mr. Dunham, you're one of these people I'm talking about. You know, you come in here, you participate, you add your comments in here. And again, I appreciate you being in here, as always. All right, so Mr. Dump's in your morning. All right, Mr. Dump says it's never-ending war, I'm afraid. Yeah, and again, this is one of the things. Like, if you guys look at the history of America going to war in the last 30 years. Once we realized we didn't have to get a declaration of war from Congress, everything ends up being a forever war. Everything ends up being nation building. Everything ends up being a destabilizing event. And again, it doesn't really seem to help America. Like, how has America gotten better since 9/11? Do you guys like TSA? Do you guys feel safer? Do you love the Patriot Act? Right? Has all these FISA warrants that we passed, does this help you guys? Do you guys feel good about the surveillance state that came from 9/11? Do you guys feel better about the economy after we printed all the money from the great financial crisis? Do you guys feel better that we've printed all that money during COVID? Do you guys feel like the quality of life's gotten better? Because I don't. You know, and again, the things that Donald Trump ran on, again, I thought would really help this country. It'd be a massive change, but it doesn't seem like anyone wants it, you know? So everyone just loves war. Everyone loves the same old, and no one's willing to take less, and this is where we're at today, you know? So congratulations, everyone. All right, this is Robert Catanios in here. Okay, What is a Woman? Yeah, again, that's a great movie, guys. If you guys want to see the What is a Woman movie, go see it. It's at Matt, what's that guy's name? Matt something. I forget his last. Great movie. It's freaking awesome. All right, Andrew Rain, 3964. Endgame is we keep voting Republican. Watch Housemaid's Tale. We become Gilead, huh? Okay, well, again, I haven't seen the Handmaid's Tale. I need to see that. Again, great. I appreciate your. We just keep voting Republican, right? So again, we just keep doing the war thing. We keep doing the tax cuts while we increase spending and print money. I guess that's the end game. So again, how does it get better for America, Andrea? Is it going to help us at all? Again, when we go over to these third world countries, how is it helping this country? Because I think at this point, I don't think anything's helped. You know, I think there's a lot of things we could do. Trump ran on a lot of things we could do. We could cut off the third world. We could cut off China. We could have tariffs. We could, you know, close the border, kick all the third world disaster. We could increase the supply of energy, increase the supply of housing. There's a lot of things we could do, but we don't seem to want to do that. So, all right. Robert says, how many genders are there? There are 2 genders. All right, Jesse Flowers, EX3. Democrats ask questions. I am neither Republican nor Democrat. All right, don't you say there. JPol 3808. We must have asked before I got here. Endgame, 6 years. 15-minute cities, government control being perfected. Yeah, again, I'm one of these. I believe in the same thing. Like, go Google, guys. Go on Google or Grok. Grok, the NEOM project, right? I think it's NEOM. It's what they're working on in Saudi Arabia, and it's fucking scary, man. Absolutely scary. Yeah, in 15-minute cities, if you guys don't know, a 15-minute city, essentially, you guys have everything you need within your little area, right? Within your community, your city. And again, nothing is farther than 15 minutes away. Your money will only work in your 15-minute city. You'll take Waymos, you'll take autonomous vehicles to go everywhere, but you'll have parks, you know, you'll have your UBI, you know, your universal basic income. You'll have all these subscriptions that you want. You'll have all the digital products that you want. The food might not be what it used to be, but guess what? It doesn't matter because you don't have control over your own money because everything is supplied to you by the government. It's very scary, you know, but JPol, I like your comment, man. I think that's kind of where it's going. And again, you guys let government do everything for you, and all you care about is cheap prices. This is the world you're going to get, you know, unfortunately. When you let the third world make all your guys' shit, and you let the businesses bring the third world in here because they don't want to pay you the wages that you want, this is the world you guys are going to get. You're all going to end up on welfare. You're all going to end up on UBI, you know, so. So you try harder, champ, biologically too, but mentally, however many you want. Okay, well, appreciate your comment there. Andrew says some cultures have the, is it Winkle you say there, or the two spirits? Some people worship a third gender called, and there are intersex people who fail somewhere between the two sexes. Okay, well, Andrew, I like your comment again. I don't know if I've subscribed to all that shit, but appreciate you putting it in there. Okay, the idea that it matters who we vote for is laughable. And again, Noel, I agree. I think voting doesn't work anymore. I think it's dead. It was supposed to work. And we had a great system, but the problem is that no one's pushing back against the president. Congress doesn't push back against the president. The president doesn't go to Congress for the laws. The Supreme Court doesn't seem to want to really do much of anything. And we're just in a situation where you guys just pay your 22.5% in income taxes, and everything just keeps slow rolling. The Fed will keep printing money to give the poor free money, give the rich corporate carve-outs, right? They'll keep brainwashing you guys and think that you just need to go to college and you need to support anything that's safety related, anything that's clean air and clean drinking water, and that's where we're at. So. All right, okay, Robert, I'm not interested. Again, we're talking about the end game with Iran, guys. That's the only comments we're going to respond to. And again, if we can't get the comments that I want in here, we're just going to end the stream. So again, if you guys are in the chat, hit the like button, add the discussion, subscribe, all that good fun stuff. All right, Robert Dennis says perhaps he is killing the dollar, but it hurts us. Probably poor the most. You think he's killing the dollar, huh? And again, how does that work? Are you talking he's killing the petrodollar? Because I mean, I guess I could see that maybe, but yeah, interesting comment. All right, Mr. Dunn's perhaps killing the. Okay, rate your comment there, Andrea. Let's see. We don't vote Republican. We don't want to be Gilead. Okay, no, don't vote. No, don't vote Republican. We don't want to be Gilead. Okay, well, again, Andrea, if you guys are, you guys followed me for a long time. Again, you know my stance. I think that I'm voting blue no matter who this time. Again, lifelong Republican, lifelong conservative type person. I'm voting blue. I'm going to make us go. This country is going to go even further to the left, right? You guys thought there was more than two genders. Now wait till 12, 15 years from now when all of us Republicans continue to vote blue till we get our Caesar, right? Till we get someone that's actually going to do what he says he's going to do. We got to go further left. I thought we'd gone absolutely as left as we could possibly go during COVID, but I don't think that we did, So I'm going to be voting Democrat until I get my Hitler-esque figure. Right, that's what I'm waiting for. I wait for the guy that is going to deport people. Is not going to be responsive to the fucking bleeding heart liberals. When the protesters get ran over by the trucks, I'm just going to say, good, moving on. Right, until we get that guy who's going to drag the kids out of schools, he's going to take the guys off the job site, drag the women out of the home. Until that guy shows up, I'm going to vote left. I'm going to keep voting left. My taxes, I will have 50, 60, 70% income taxes in this country. To pay for all the fucking guys, to pay for colleges, to, give all the people the degrees, right? To let people go to college for 10, 12, 15, 20 years if they want. And again, on the government's dime, I'll pay for all of it. I'll wait till I get the guy that is going to come in and do the thing that he says he's going to do to curb the federal government, to stop the spending, to end the foreign conflicts. Until that guy shows up, I'm going to keep voting blue. And there's a lot of us out there. There's a lot of us that are just done. We're absolutely done trying to vote for the Republican Party because it only just does this. That's all it does. You get a little bit to the right, and a little bit to the left. And again, all we do is keep paying the taxes. The money printer keeps printing. And again, your guys' generations are literally being inflated to death. And I'm tired of it. I'm not gonna vote for another. I'm not a boomer, guys. I'm not gonna vote for another generation to have it worse than I had it. Right? And again, anyway, sorry. Great comment. Appreciate it. Let's see, Teflon Don. All right. Great comment, dude. And Mr. Dunham. I just want to be left alone. Mr. Dunham, me too. That's all I want. That's all I want. I want people to pay for themselves. Again, if I want to help you as a taxpayer, I'll help you. But I don't need the federal government to help you for me. Okay? I don't need to pay somebody else to tell me how to spend my money. Okay? This is where you end up with what happened in the Pacific Northwest when the whole West Coast has been destroyed by this suicidal empathy. Oh my God, we're going to take money from the rich people and again, pay me because I'm going to go help the poor. I'm going to go help the homeless. And then, fast forward 30 years. There's more poor people and there's more homeless people. And as a taxpayer, I'm like, well, what the fuck, man? I thought I was giving you tax money so you help these people out, okay? I don't want to pay you anymore. I'm not going to help you. You didn't do your job. And they're like, well, you can't stop paying me. Like, you got to continue to pay me. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I don't want to pay you anymore. Well, you can stop paying me, but you got to pay my replacement. Like, the money can never be turned off. You can just have somebody else try and help. I know. How about we don't help the homeless? How about we don't help the poor anymore? Like, it hasn't worked. Well, we can't do that. That's not how it works. I thought that's exactly how it worked. So again, we got to turn the spending off. Leave me alone. Let me have my money. I'll help who I want to help. Well, but then you're not going to help the right people. Oh, wait a minute. You mean the guy that makes all the money, that pays all the taxes? I don't know how to help people. The guy that advocates for helping the the impoverished, the generationally impoverished people that wants to give them jobs, that wants to teach them how to do shit. I'm the guy that doesn't know how it's supposed to work. I got to pay some blue-haired liberal fucking Karen that's got 10 fucking college degrees to help the homeless. I got to pay that dumb bitch money? Like, no way. I ain't doing it. So again, I'm going to move this country as far to the left as I can. And guess what, guys? Eventually, it might not be in my lifetime, but what's going to come is going to rock your world. It's going to be awful. And I can't wait. I can't wait. So, all right. This is June Aberralis, 8658. Checks and balances died with Citizens United. Yeah, and a lot of people say that. I agree. That was a horrible decision, and we should change that. And again, as a Republican guy, business owner, I agree, 100%. So thank you for putting that in there. I've agreed with it forever. All right, Slender Girl says the government that can do anything for you can do anything to you. Yep, 100%. Great comment there, Slender Girl. I need to put that on a T-shirt. That's an awesome one. Andrea says, endgame with Iran depends on Trump's ego. Okay, great. What the fuck do I do with that, Andrea? What do you want? Is that your mission statement? Like, what the fuck are we supposed to do with that? Like, give us something that's concrete, man. Your fucking platitudes are, again, the people that put these comments in here, it's like, what are you trying to make a sticker? Are you trying to sell T-shirts? Like, what do we do with that information? Come on, man. You can do better than that. All right, Justin has failed. All right, great comment, man. All right, let's see. Amidst all these airstrikes and military buildup, Iran is being awfully chill. I voted red for years, and this time I'm done with them. Amidst all the airstrikes and military buildup, Iran is being awfully chill. I voted red for years, and this time I'm done with them. Okay, I'm not sure what you're saying. So you're saying that Iran is being chill amidst all of the bombing that's happening around? Like Iran's not doing enough, or they're not doing very much? I voted red for years, and I'm done this time with them. So you're done with Iran this time. Like, as opposed to all the other times they started shit over in a region that you're not ever going to go, a place that you're, like, when's the last time you went vacation in Iran, right? Or how about Israel or Saudi Arabia or Qatar? Like, did you, give us a little more. I'm curious where you're going here. Okay, not left. We need balanced Senate. Okay, not sure. You're saying that, Mr. Dunham, happy Easter. Yeah, happy Easter, everyone. It's Easter Sunday. I had no idea. People let me know. I'm not a religious person. I don't, as a business owner, I hate all tax holidays. I hate any holiday. Any holiday I got to pay an employee, I hate that stuff because this is like money I got to give away that, isn't being earned for. I know, a terrible thing to say, but anyway, you can also just pay your people better. That's kind of what we try and do. All right, thank God we are not robots and have feelings, though, right? I don't know about feelings. All right, Joshua HO104. So you vote left, but you're a right winger. Okay, not sure what you're saying to Joshua. I've never said that. College is too expensive. It needs to be reduced in cost. But yeah, and again, Mr. Dunham, I think you got a great comment. This is the problem with everything government gets involved in. When you make college accessible to everyone, guess what? You tell an 18-year-old, hey, you know what? You can go to college for 18 years. You can go, fuck people. You can go do drugs. You can go live your best life. You can go figure out what you want to do. Or you can go to work for Eric at the factory. What do you think they're going to choose? This isn't complicated. Get the federal government out of student loans. There is no free money, okay? And again, same thing with healthcare. You look at healthcare. Like, oh my God, it's like I got to pay to go get this vaccine, or I got to go pay to have my legs set, or I got to go pay, to go take care of my diabetes. Like, I got to go pay for this shit. Guess what would happen to the cost of healthcare? It would fall like a stone. Because again, people would think twice about going to the doctor. When you got a $20 copay, what do you think you're going to do? You're always going to go to the doctor. When it's easy, you're always going to go do these things. Again, I haven't had healthcare in a decade. That's the price for me to be a business owner. I can't afford healthcare. Again, now I just pay cash for it. It sucks, but I think twice about going to the doctor. I'll tell you that much. And again, it hasn't hurt me overall. I've been okay, so. All right, let's see, this PQ9ST. What are you carrying on about? What are you talking about? Just joining the conversation. All right, dude. So what we're talking about is essentially, MAGA has been a big scam, right? Voting for Donald Trump has not helped us, right? Again, the guy that we voted for to do the mass deportations, close the border, do the tariffs, do the tax cuts, end foreign wars, right? This kind of thing. Get America out of all these foreign conflicts, right? Donald Trump said it forever. There's just a massive waste of money being in the Middle East. Again, he's done the antithesis of it, minus the border and the tax cuts. And again, it's just massive scam. And again, a lot of Americans are just really they've been hit in the face too many times at this point, and we're all jumping shit. Like we're all gonna support Democrats. Like again, if I got to waste money as a taxpayer, if I got to spend trillions and trillions of dollars in the Middle East, right? If that helps America, I'm on board. But I don't think it's ever helped America, right? So again, if I got to trade what we're doing in the Middle East, what we've been doing since 2001, if I got to trade that for giving people free healthcare, giving people reduced healthcare, giving people free or reduced childcare, paying off medical debt, paying off student loans, right? And again, I hate the idea of paying off student loans. But again, if I got to choose between bombing Iran and paying off student loan debt, I'll pay off the student loan debt every day of the week. I want to help the people that live in my country. I'm tired of spending money on the third world. I'm tired of protecting Europe, right? Again, I'm tired of fighting this whole Ukraine-Russia thing. Again, let these guys deal with themselves. You want to see the world change, right? You want to see the world move in a different direction. You got to actually be willing to let the world change and move in a different direction. Bring that money back here. Bring those resources back here. I'm happy to tariff China. I'm happy to tariff Europe. I'm happy to tariff everyone. Okay? I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to kick out the third worlders and focus on the people that are here. I'm happy to do that. And I think that's what we need in this country. And again, you guys can disagree with me, but that's just kind of how I see it, So, all right, let's see. Andrew says, in fact, the way Trump is acting in his first term is a far cry from how he was in his first term. He's lost his goddamn mind. Yeah, and again, I feel the same, guys. And again, I was going to, one of the things I want to read you guys is I want to read you guys what happened to other presidents real quick. Just give me just a second, guys. I'll tell you guys what happened to these other these other presidents when they ran into similar situations, okay? I think it was a cool topic, and again, it only takes a second. So let me guys give you my query. That way you guys can understand where I'm coming from. Hold on one second, guys. Let me find my little thing here. Again, I got all these freaking tabs open. Oh man, I'm not seeing the tab that I'm looking for. Holy smokes, where is this tab? Hold on one second, guys. Let me get to it. I'm going to tell you guys about George Bush. We're going to talk about FDR. We'll talk about some of these other people had to go through. God damn it. My tabs reset. Okay, here we go. All right, hold on. Here we go. All right, so here's the query, guys. Here's what you guys need to understand. The way you know what I'm talking about when I say these things. Okay, the query is there another president who moved so far away from his campaign messages as Donald Trump has? Okay, so here you go. So you got to look at George H.W. Bush. Okay, George H.W. Bush, right? He ran on, remember, no new taxes. He's not going to. His pledge was read my lips. No new taxes. Well, as sometimes leaders have to do, he backtracked, right? So again, his whole fucking campaign was no new taxes, right? And then he had to raise taxes. And what happened? He became a one-term president. Okay, you think Trump doesn't know this? He became a one-term president, right? So he was out. He had to completely change his messaging. He had to do the thing that he completely ran against, cost him his presidency. Okay, and again, he's gone down in history as being a pretty shitty president, right? So we want to look at Barack Obama. Okay, what happened to Barack Obama? What did Barack Obama run on? He ran on hope. He ran on hope and change, right? And again, Barack Obama, I don't think is actually a great example, but the damage that guy did to this country through the ACA is just undeniable. The reason a lot of you guys can't afford healthcare today, unless you work for a large corporation that has a group plan, is because of Barack Obama. Okay, so things that he ran on hope and change, bipartisanship, and closing Guantanamo Bay within a year. Right, cutting the deficit in half. Everyone runs on cutting the deficit. You guys notice that never happens. Cutting the deficit in half, implementing a public option or major healthcare savings, right? Which he absolutely did. Okay, so again, he was able to get the thing passed. PolitiFact tracked hundreds of promises. Roughly 47% kept. He kept half of his promises, which is pretty good on him. All right, Lyndon B. Johnson ran as the peace candidate. Like literally ran on peace, similar to kind of Trump. Like Trump kind of ran on the whole peace thing. Ran as the peace candidate against Barry Goldwater, emphasizing restraint in Vietnam. Once elected, he dramatically escalated U.S. involvement with ground troops and bombings, turned into a major war, seen by many as a profound shift from the anti-war tone of his campaign. Okay, so how did Vietnam work out, guys? You guys did that go well? And I always laugh when people talk about Vietnam because, again, in my furniture industry, right, my actual industry, I always just laugh at Americans and talk about how they love democracy and they love capitalism and they just love all this, the great American ideal, okay? All the countries that make all your guys' cheap shit, they're all communist. Every fucking one of them. They're all communist. There's no capitalism in these countries, okay? So again, put that in your pipe and smoke it, guys. So again, Lyndon Johnson ran way away from what he ran on against the peace president. Again, that didn't turn out very well for America. Okay, we're in a fairly similar situation today because again, Iran is not just going to lay over. This is not fucking Iraq, guys. This is completely different. This is a country that is ready for war. They have been planning for war with Israel and America for damn near 40 years. And people got to get right with this. They think that Iran's just going to roll over. Oh my God, Trump's just going to bomb him into existence. It ain't going to happen. Like the ground war is getting ready, guys, and it's going to be bad. Okay, another one is Woodrow Wilson. This is in 1916. He was elected to keep us out of war. Right, shortly after U.S. entered World War II, or excuse me, World War I. I apologize. Oh my God! So there are a lot of presidents that ran on this kind of stuff, and they had to do the exact opposite. And then you can look back at their presidencies. Pretty much all of them go down in history as being terrible presidents. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, right, 1940, promised American boys would not be sent into any foreign war. Pearl Harbor happened. We all know what happened after that. Okay, so Franklin Delano Roosevelt had to completely change his tone from when he ran as a campaigning president to what he had to do once he became president, right? And the last one is George W. Bush. We all remember that one. Campaigned on humble foreign policy, changing the tone in Washington, reducing government spending, and privatizing Social Security. Then what happened? You guys remember George W. Bush? He's there. He's reading books to the kids, right? Twin Towers happened, right? And again, forever had to go to a fight in Afghanistan and Iraq, right? And it's too bad. Too bad what happened. He basically was the president that started this whole nation building thing, a thing we've been doing for the last 25 years. Thank you, George W. Bush. The guy went down in history as being an awful president. They made lots of movies about this guy being a complete fucking idiot. We all know about the Dick Cheney stories, the military-industrial complex buildup. Again, horrible president. Trump is putting himself in a position to become one of these type of presidents. You don't want to be in these names. Even FDR. FDR, again, did some great things. Again, say what you will about his spending. What he did from a spending side was probably good for the country. So again, Trump's in trouble. So, okay, those are some of the presidents I want to read you guys real quick. All right, Joshua HO101. There. Let's see. This stream's terrible. Some lefty loon having a mental breakdown. All right, appreciate it. All right, what do we have, guys? Well, holy shit, we're at 140 minutes, guys. I got other things to do today. Let's do 5 more comments, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. Andrea, again, I appreciate you coming in here and putting your stuff in. I know I don't always agree with you. It sounds like you got a very interesting life. You got a very cool job and a very cool perspective on life. So come back and give us some more information. Joshua, it doesn't sound at all like he's having a meltdown or that he's lefty. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but I would take. Yeah, I know. Okay, more comments. See. He isn't a Democrat or a Republican. He's an anarchist. The Zion war, I agree with you. And I don't want to agree with you, dude. Like, I think what you're saying there is you're probably closer to the truth than I want to admit. I have become very cynical, I think, as a voter, as a taxpayer, as a guy who came from nothing and turned it into something, and watching what I see with the poor, right? Watching what I see in big business, what I see with the way tariff policy works in this country, what I see the government and the media, social media specifically, doing to a lot of you people out there today, I have become very cynical. And what I want for this country is I want everyone to have what I had growing up. I want everyone to be able to buy their first home in their early 20s. I want them to be able to have kids. I want them to be able to go on vacation. I want them to be able to afford retirement. I want more people in this country to have access to the life that I had growing up. I want less of this K-shaped economy. I want some of these people up here at the top to give a little bit more so that more people at the bottom can be here. But if what we think is that somebody else is always going to solve the problem, someone else is always going to help the people that are in poverty, someone else is always going to take care of the people that never had a dad, that don't know what it's like to own a home. If all we do is pass that responsibility to someone else, I got a problem with that. I think it's bad. I think that we can do better as a country. I think that, again, small businesses need to teach these people how to make some money, need to teach people how to do some shit. Need to teach these people that showing up on time and doing a good job is more important than making money. Leads to making money, leads to opportunity. Again, when young men see dad go to work every day at 5 o'clock in the morning, when young kids wonder, where's dad? And mom always says, dad's at work. This is actually a good thing. This teaches people pride. This teaches younger generations of poor people that, hey, man, my dad's doing it. I can do it. Life for us is pretty good. Dad's out there working. He's making a little more money. Hey, we're getting nicer cars. We're getting nicer houses. We're able to eat steak. Now, when young people see this kind of stuff, they pay attention. And again, if all we want to do is give people Section 8 and SNAP, right, and WIC, and paying for for incentivizing poor women to have kids so they can get more tax benefits, right? So they get more free money from the people that pay the taxes. Like, I think this country's not working the way it's supposed to work. When you tell people, oh my God, don't go build a house, don't go dig in the mud, right? Don't go stripe roads, don't go be a welder, don't go be a fireman, a firefighter. Those are white collar or blue collar loser jobs. Go to college. When we perpetuate this life here in America and we keep telling people to do this shit, I think it's the wrong way to run this country. So yeah, you're right. I have become a little bit cynical, right? When I see our president, say that he wants to increase the military budget to $1.5 trillion, I think that is just insane. I think it's absolutely insane. Meanwhile, all the countries that we're protecting, all the countries in Europe, the wars that we're fighting in Ukraine, all these guys got universal health care and universal child care. And I don't even believe that we should pay for that shit. But if I got to choose between funding NATO and protecting Ukraine and protecting Israel with our $1 trillion a year military budget, I'm done. I'm over it. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm done. I'm gone. Trump wasn't supposed to do this. He wasn't supposed to be this person. This is exactly what he's doing. So yeah, I have become a little bit of an anarchist. So I appreciate your comment, man. Very way to illuminate reality for me. So great comment. All right, John Masterson, 61. All I use doctors for is to get my blood work done every 3 months. Yeah, I do the same thing, dude. And I don't know what you're paying, but I've the last 2 times I went, one time it cost me $1,500, and the other time it cost me $1,200 from Quest. So I'm curious what you're paying. I've got a polymyositis, which I don't know if you guys know what that is, but basically your body can feel like it's full of concrete, and again, it's got much the male running still, and I appreciate waste management. Yeah, and again, it's a good point, Andrew. I'm with you. J-Pole3808, pay your people better. I wish all business owners were like you. Unfortunately, most of the corporate world is all about the bottom line. Screw the workers. Give them a 10-pound ham for the holiday. Yeah, and again, I think I've experienced that's fucking bullshit, man. The only thing people want is money. Employees don't give a fuck about your work culture. They don't give a fuck about your Thanksgiving dinner. They don't give a fuck about your work appreciation, your worker appreciation day, where you give them T-shirts and jackets and fucking $25 gift cards to Walmart. This is what corporate America has become. And again, when you guys work for these large corporations, you go from being a person to being a number. And this is why they're large, right? They've got systems in place. They can usher in one person for another person. They can just keep moving you people like a factory. And again, when you have access to the third world, why would a corporation hire you? They don't have to. Why would they want to operate in a country where, again, all you guys give a fuck about is clean air, clean drinking water, and the minimum wage, unions, all this kind of shit? They're not going to hire you guys. And then when you let them bring the third world in here, again, why would you guys ever get to be a butcher? Why would you guys ever get to be in the meat processing industry, which used to be a middle class industry, by the way? Like, why would you guys become roofers? Why would you guys become general contractors? Why would you guys do any of this work? The third world does it. Go to college. Why would you want to get a job right out of high school, 18 years old? Why would you want to do that? Like, why would you want to go fuck chicks and do drugs? Go live your best life while you work on your psychology degree? Like, that sounds like a lot more fun than going and fucking, learning to bend sheet metal. So again, our incentives are all fucked in this country, and they're only getting worse. Again, as a guy who pays, like, my job is to make sure my guys have work, right? It's to make sure that my people like where they work. Like, again, it's to create businesses that are a reflection of who I am as a person. And we've done that where I have the Resplendent Crow. We've done that. Our employees, the least someone has worked for me is 5 years. I've been in business for 9 years, guys. I've got people that have literally been there longer than I have. Okay, this is what we need in this country. This is who we need starting businesses and creating the culture, is people like myself and the people that work for the company that I work for. People like J-Pole here. They're advocating for people making a living salary, okay? Again, we have this crazy fucking tip culture that we have today, okay? That started by giving everyone free money. We've done so many things in this country that don't seem to make any sense, guys. And again, we got to make changes. We got big changes we need to make. So, all right, Andrea Rain, tariffs have always been leveraged, though. We all tariff everyone. Yeah, to a certain degree. I guess I hear what you're saying there, Andrea. Again, I think we need to do more with tariffs. I'm a big tariff guy, not because I want to grind another country into dust. No, it's because I want to give dumb people work. Plain simple. I need to put on a T-shirt. Give dumb people work. That's it. People think that does not appear to be connected to the internet. Okay, great. All right. Oh shit. I think I might have lost my internet connection, guys. Are we back? Let me go to the end of the stream, guys. So we're back. 1 trillion. Our average is 12. This is bringing up comments here. This is Jimmy Jones again, guys. Let in the feed. Are we still live? Did I lose my stream here? All right, this is what you voted for, Adams. Okay, I can't tell if I'm in here, guys. Okay, well, I can't tell if the stream's still running, guys. It looks like it might be, but I'm not seeing anyone putting a comment in to tell me that we have 50-person cabinet company. It's interesting. Just news. Okay, yes, so we're still on. Okay, so just news. You say you have a 50-person cabinet company in Illinois. Okay, I also live in Illinois. I live in Alton, or Godfrey, I should say. My factory is in St. Louis. I've got 9 people. So let me know. I don't know if you want to put your business in there. What part of Illinois you're in? I'm kind of curious. I would start a cabinet company in the state for nothing. In Illinois, where I live, there's no way you can get me to start a business here. It's insane. I looked at opening up a retail location here in Illinois. I was looking for tax credits and stuff like that, and they'll give you a lot of tax credits, but man, you got to bring a lot of people in to make it worthwhile. Okay, I was in Charleston, Illinois for about a year. I loved it. Okay, good. I've never been to Charleston, Illinois. You're in Lockport. Okay, cool. So that's fantastic, man. You're in my business. So I'm more of a furniture company as opposed to a cabinet company. A lot of people don't understand the difference between cabinets and furniture. Basically, what you guys need to think is a cabinet is meant to stick on a wall, right? A cabinet is meant to have some sort of support, right? Some sort of secondary support. Usually nailers and screwed into walls and things like that. It's not meant to stand on its own. Furniture is actually meant to stand on its own. It's meant to be structurally sound in every direction. So okay, let's see here. There is still a music scene there. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Okay, well, I thought my stream had ended, so clearly we still got some stuff. All right, so let's see what Ellie says in here. Guys, I'm going to give you guys a couple more comments that I got to get here. So we are going to need that gold dome soon. Yeah, again, if we keep fucking with everyone, we will. But again, no one messes with America. Again, America creates its own enemies, guys. Like, who is it? Theo Vaughn literally said it. It's like we're talking about going over there killing terrorists. Like, no, guys, we are the fucking terrorists. And again, I believe this. Every time we go over to one of these countries and we destabilize it, we kill the grandmas, we kill the grandpas, we kill the kids, we kill the parents. Again, you can't tell me that they're thinking, oh my God, thanks America for coming over and destabilizing our country and killing everyone that I've ever known. Thanks Israel for coming over and killing everyone that I've ever known. Oh my God, we're gonna become friends now. Okay, this does not happen. And how you guys have been convinced of this, I don't know. I don't know how you've been. And this isn't a bleeding heart liberal thing. This is just a common sense thing. Okay, you don't fucking make friends with bombs. I don't know where people got this idea. I don't know how you guys believe this shit. But wild times. Okay, you see, those are things that happened. Those are president that made them change their view. How was Iran forced on us? Yeah, Ellie, I don't know, man. I don't know how this whole Iran thing happened. I don't know. Again, you got to go back to like the late 70s to understand the whole Iran conflict, and I think why we think the way that we think about Iran today. I think we're chasing ghosts, right? We're operating today on old information. I think it's because of our boomer culture, guys. I think it's because all the boomers that are in government, the boomers that again still think that we're living in 1979. There's fucking missiles out in Cuba. Like we can't make change in this country because the fucking boomers are never gonna die. Like again, not that I want boomers to die, but I'm just saying like you guys are living longer than the generations before. You're living a lot longer than you paid into our system. You're staying in Congress longer than you should. Your ideas, your antiquated old world ideas are allowed to proliferate. And it's not, maybe you're not wrong, but again, I think we gotta let young blood in this country. We gotta let young decision makers move at the speed of our technology. And again, we're still acting like it's 1979. I don't understand it, so. Okay, let's see what other comments we got in here. So just news, again, just news if you're still in here. You might not know me. My name is Eric Wilk, and I own the Resplendent Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri. We are the company that makes that high-gloss lacquered furniture. We paint it and we make it. We do about 500 pieces a year, and it's a great little small business that we have. We got 9 employees. We do a low 7 figures in revenue. And so anyone that is in my space, come back in. Listen to us talk. I talk politics. I talk current events. I talk all kinds of things in the morning, generally 1 or 2 hours a day. And then I show you guys how to build furniture. Go to the Modern Woodrunner, go to theresplendentcrow.com. Show you guys how to build furniture, how to paint furniture, how to work with metal. I got 2 companies in India that make brass hardware for me. So you want to know how to do CAD work, you want to do CAM work, how CNCs work, how foreign fabrication works, how foreign manufacturing works. Talk about all that stuff, So glad you're here, dude. If you're still here, and again, we're gonna give Andy the last comments, and I'm out of here. Michigan's Upper Peninsula is where I live now, in a town, Grand Marias. Okay. Well, very cool. Andrea, it sounds like you're a great person. I appreciate being here. You got a very interesting story. And again, we got lots of normies that come in here, a lot of normal people, a lot of regulars. And again, that's what we built this cast up. So if you guys want to know the stats on the back end, I was trying to tell you guys what we do. Here's the stats on our channel as of right now. Okay, so the stats, let's pull them up here. Come on. Okay, so it says your hard work has paid off. Publishing more helped your channel grow 476% in the last 28 days. Okay, so month over month, we just keep growing this channel. Again, it started growing in February. Again, we're up 76%. We're averaging 177,000 views a month. We're averaging almost 3,000 watch hours a month. We're averaging about 350 new subscribers a month, and this channel's making about $121 a month. So there's some back-end information for you guys on the YouTube. I always tell you guys because again, the channel doesn't work without you guys. So, all right, Boy Scout Kill You A. I don't know if you're even Aussie. Tell me how hospice centers in California are having a 98% release. Tell me how hospice centers in California are having a 98% release rate. I don't know what a 98% release rate is. And again, if you're talking about fraud in California, again, dude, there's fraud everywhere. Doesn't matter. Anything the federal government's involved in is inefficient at best. Anytime you pay somebody else to help another group of people that you care about instead of doing it yourself, you're going to get robbed. It's going to be inefficient. So again, you just, whatever the fraud is, whether it's in California, whether it's in Minnesota, whether it's in Florida, again, if you think that all the problems are in California, right, wait till you get to Florida where all the old people are. That's where all your waste, fraud, and abuse is, if I'm being completely honest. Again, all the old people are in Florida, dude. So you got to cut the federal budget. You got to get rid of the money. You need to balance the federal budget in one day. You just need to hack it all out. And again, it'll cause a mini recession. It'll be terrible for a lot of people, but it's what needs to happen. You want to see the 10-year bond come down? You guys want to see homes be affordable again, mortgages be affordable again? Just balance the budget. That's all you got to do. Get rid of the free money. Get rid of the printed money. You'll spend a year or two. It'll suck ass, but guess what? You'll have a better foundation. You'll have more jobs, better jobs, jobs that pay better, things that are affordable. The value of your dollar will actually purchase something again, but no one wants to feel the pain. So, all right, Rodolfo Dogan. I don't even know what the hell your name is, dude. Oh, okay, wow, you're still talking. I know. Thanks for coming back, man. All right, Boy Scout Killer says, Florida only has a few dozen hospice centers. California has thousands. Again, you're talking about one specific aspect of old people. Okay, that's what hospice is. It's old people. The fraud is in old people. Go look at the federal budget, motherfucker. You want to see where all the money goes? It's all Medicare, and Social Security. That's where your waste, fraud, and abuse is. It's what is it? It's 43% of the entire federal budget. Hey, you think when I want to save money, you think that I look at the little shit, the nickel and dime shit? No, I go look at the big shit first and I figure out how to save money. Okay, but you're never going to see it because, again, the most important voter base in America is the boomers. That's it. No shade on the boomers. You guys won. You did great. Congratulations. That's where all the money is. Plain and simple. You guys want to fuck around with this nickel and dime bullshit again? You're acting like you've never owned a business or had to fucking make shit work in your life. What are you gonna save money by not buying coffee every day? You're gonna get rich by not buying coffee? You're still gonna believe that shit? Doesn't work that way. All right, let's see. Mr. Joker's back in here. No one would want to feel the pain. No one has wanted to feel the pain. Yeah, again, 100%. Joker, you get it. No one's wanted to. That's why you guys are just printing money at infinitum. You've never seen a program you can say no to. You've never seen a printed dollar you can say no to. You don't care about budgets at all. You just want to print. Just give me mine. Take from the other guy and give me mine. That's how this country works. So it's too bad. Bills due. Yep, bills coming due. All right, largest wealth transfer happened in the next 15, 20 years as the old folks are dying off. Remnant of working class wealth will disappear. Remnants of the working class wealth will disappear. Well, Andrea, again, as someone who knows something about wealth management, let me tell you what's going to happen to all that money. All that money is going into trusts. You think it's going to come back into the regular economy? No. It's going to go to the heirs of the boomers. And hopefully they'll do something good with it. I don't know if they will or not. But again, that money is going to trickle back into the economy because it's all going to be locked up in trusts. So again, what that means is that essentially, if you had $1 million, right, that money is going to be tied up in those accounts and it will be dispersed for 20 years. Maybe it'll be dispersed for 25 years, right? All that money that went from the boom in the stock market, from the boom in real estate, from the boom in all these industries, all that money is going to be locked up for years, and it's going to trickle out into the economy, just like trickle-down economics, and that's how it'll work. So again, that money's not going to be seen for a long time. I feel really bad that that's what happened, but that's what the boomers created. This is the tax policy they created. This is the not death tax, the end-of-life policy, the way the trust system works. The boomers created all of this shit, and they're protecting their money just like they're protecting their Social Security. They're protecting their Medicare, right? They're protecting all of it, and they've won. And again, I don't know how to paint a clearer picture of it, guys. But again, all the spending is all mandatory. 63% of every dollar that we give out is mandatory money. The Congress has almost no say over it. This is your Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP. Section 8. All this money is mandatory. So again, when you guys talk about, oh God, we're going to save money doing this, we're going to save money doing that, bullshit. There's no money to be saved. It's all locked up. And the people that say that the boomers, oh my God, they paid for this. They paid for their Medicare. They paid into Social Security. Yeah. When the boomers were paying in Social Security, guess what? There were 5 people paying in for every one boomer that goes there were 5 people paying in to Social Security for every one boomer that was working. Okay. Now, fast forward, there's 2.5 people paying in for every boomer that's taking Social Security, Medicare. And guess what? They're living 20 years longer. And healthcare has gone up 1,000%. And you guys are paying for all of it. There's no reduction in benefits. There's no reduction in when you can take, no increase in the age you can take these benefits. There's no cap on the spending for the medical side. It's going to go bankrupt. No one's going to be able to pay for it. The costs are going up faster than we can. Again, you're not seeing an increase in your FICA taxes, guys. The 7.5% that I have to pay, the 7.5% that you guys pay, that number needs to be more like 12% from each of us. They're not doing it because, again, they want to protect that voter base. When Donald Trump asked for $1.5 trillion for the military budget, guess what? He's taking out of Medicaid. He's not going to take it out of Medicare, and he's not going to cut Social Security. He's not going to do anything. It's only going to come from the poor. It's going to come from people like me that pay income taxes, people like you that pay income taxes. We're all going to have to pay more and take less so that the boomer class can be protected because they're the most important class of voters in America today. They're all the people in government. And it's too bad. It fucking sucks, man. But get rid of the people abusing the system. It helps the people paying into it. So yes, looking into the fraud adds up crazy. You deny that. No, it doesn't. Again, show me anyone that's been arrested. You got any... Identify some articles. Find some payments. Again, if we've been doing this waste, fraud, and abuse thing for the last 30 years, as far as I'm concerned, find me anyone that's getting their payments cut off. Find me the fraud. Find me the waste. Find me the abuse. It doesn't exist. It's all there. We're just not going to prosecute these people because, again, the government needs this to continue. You need places to put this money to make GDP go up every year. Like, you guys are all being fleeced. All you taxpayers are being fleeced. Like, why are you paying somebody else to fix another person's problems? Why don't you keep the money for yourself and you fix their problems? Won't do it. And you guys want to talk about waste, fraud, and abuse? Get the fuck out of here. It's disgusting. I'm so tired of hearing it. This is why Fox News is talking about, we're going after all the waste, fraud, and abuse in hospice centers in California. Get the fuck out of here, man. You're a fucking moron. All right, no real boob, only debt increases. 100%. Yep, exactly. Again, number go up. We love inflation because guess what? GDP goes up when there's inflation. All right, again, when you print money, GDP goes up. What do you think printed money is? How do you think they tease that out when they're talking about GDP? Fuck no, they don't. All right, Mike Terry, when people pass in Canada, it takes about a year, but the family gets the money, not go in a trust. That's fantastic. Again, we should do that here. I'm all for it, man. Again, you're making my point. Mr. Joker, term limits, that would be helpful. Minnesota judges are letting them go with only 6 months. All right, Mr. Joker's investigations equals money siphon. Yes, I agree, 100%. Anyway, you guys, I got to get out of here. I've talked to you guys plenty tonight. I appreciate everyone hanging out with me. Happy Easter, happy weekend. You guys have a good Sunday. Go do something fun. Go hang out with your family. Go to the bar. Go talk to people about politics. Go talk to people around you. See what they're saying. You guys want to know what's really happening in the economy? Go talk to the guy down at the convenience store. Go talk to the person in the grocery line. That's who you guys will really find out how the economy really works. And again, if you guys just listen to Fox News, CNN, you go on X, it's all doom and gloom, it's all terrible, and it's all solutions that lead to nowhere. So go talk to real people, see what they think the solutions are, and that's what we do here on the stream. If you guys like that kind of stuff, like, subscribe, comment, all this kind of stuff. Mike Cherry says goodbye or good day, bro. Again, see, Orange County is responsible for like 10-20% of the entire country's social budget. Dude, I believe it. Again, find someone that's going to do something about it. No one's going to do anything about it. And again, you fucking retarded Californians, you literally spend hundreds of billions of dollars on roads to nowhere, okay? And again, your ideology, your college psychosis, this research psychosis, this intelligent tech bro psychosis that you guys have down there killed the state of Oregon, where I literally had to leave Oregon because I couldn't afford to leave there because you fucktards came up there, bought up all of our land, and infected us with your stupid, dumb shit, educated bullshit. Same thing with Washington. Then it proliferated from Oregon up to Washington. You fucked up that state. And guess what? All the wealthy people, once they got the money, they all left. So you guys are going to be left with all the illegals, all the fucking degenerates, all the academics. They're all going to stick around, and you guys are going to have any money. You're all going to go bankrupt. So congratulations. Tell me again how California works. I don't need to hear it. All right, J. Paul, have a great day. Easter. Trump's doing it. Okay, Scott, appreciate you guys. Or excuse me, Boy Scout Kill You. So again, appreciate you guys. All the comments you guys are.